we'll find out shortly.
Alright, I'll say something again so I can hear it on the stream.
Alrighty. I am talking.
Alright, audio sounds good for me from both of us.
Alright, excellent. Well, in that case, I think it's about time we get started.
Yeah, go for it. Leave us in.
Alright. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the CPL Preseason Week 2 Group 30 cast. This is led by myself, Ashen, and also Saetzero. I think we've got 8 games today, you said?
Yeah, the group should have had 10. I have 8 replays, so we got the bulk of the group, it looks like.
Yeah, so a good chunk of them at least. So, well, with that, I suppose we ought to jump in. We got the first game. I believe you said it was Art of Turtle and
Shroom of Doom.
Shroom of Doom. That was it.
Yeah. So just guess what you're seeing on your stream.
Yes. Ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Let's do this.
How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing all right. I've been looking forward to this all day, and oh, you know what? I don't have the replay progress overlay. Oop.
Well, just turn it off real quick. Not a problem.
I turned on everything. We should be good now. I think some stuff is being covered up a little bit, but I'll worry about that in a minute. Well, regardless.
Any of our fine audience can give us an idea if there's something being covered that shouldn't be or anything like that. But why don't you introduce the players?
Alright, so spawning in the top of the map is Art of Turtle as the orange Zerg, and spawning in the bottom right, our Terran player in the magenta, I think is what it is Shroom of Doom. So we got a ZVT today. I admittedly don't know a lot about this matchup. I'm a Protoss player, so...
Yeah, we're both on the right side of history of that choice. We picked the right race. But, I mean, I'm sure you watch some pro games. No one doesn't like watching CVT.
Oh, that's true, yeah. I think CVT is maybe my third favorite matchup to watch. Other than that, like, ZVP is probably my favorite, and actually TBT is really fun for me. But
I regret coming on with you. That you feel that way about TBT? You're a monster.
I love TBT. TBT is fun. It's just a giant, like, it's like trench warfare, but a video game. It's great. Granted, that's...
Nah. Well, I'm just hard disagreeing with you on that one.
Oh, no, it's pretty good. I like it. Alright, so we got a 12 hatch coming down. I think... I started learning Little Zerg recently. I think this is going to be 2 hatch from Art of Turtle.
I mean, at this point, we don't really have anything to indicate it either way. But 2 hatch does seem to just be kind of like a meta build. This is a 3-player map, gives you the opportunity to be a little aggressive, but it feels like 2 hatch is good against the meta Terran builds at the moment, or at least for players of this caliber that can effectively execute their builds and have the micro to back this stuff up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for reference, I think Shroom of Doom is tier 1 or maybe tier 0, and I know Art of Turtle is tier 0. He's on our team.
Yeah, this is definitely a very high-end group. A lot of that tier 1 and above kind of play area. And that once you get to that kind of level, most of like the difference between a tier 1 and a tier 0 isn't significantly different.
Yeah. Just a Marine coming out from Shroom of Doom. No gas yet, but I suppose he doesn't really need it, although I'm not the most up-to-date on Terran builds.
And it does look like he was just saving up, trying to get that really fast command start. Actually, he stopped his Marine production a little bit just to make sure he can get as fast as he can.
Yeah, he didn't scout to the right place initially, but now he sees everything and saw that the spawning pool just came up a few minutes ago, or seconds, I should say. So I think he'll probably be safe with this, although he doesn't have anything at the front, which worries me a little bit.
Well, I mean, so like you look around and you see the SCV in the main. The fact that it's staying alive, it's not like it's dying to links immediately, so he can see all the units as they get spawned, and he actually sees the third hatch in production. So he should know he's not under any immediate threat. He has a couple of Marines sitting in front. Doesn't need to really worry about a bunker or anything just yet.
Not quite. And there that
But
gas
we do
is.
see from Sherman Doob that he's getting that fast eBay, seeming like this might be actually buy over once and not some of these fancier mech builds that become pretty popular.
I am excited about that. If I were to play Terran, it would just be because SK Terran looks amazing.
You just hate yourself. You just like I like watching the most boring matchup. I want to execute the hardest crap to execute. I thought you were a pro S player for the right reasons, and really you're just a traitor.
Yeah, I play the macro games most of the time. I don't really abuse what Protoss can do too much.
And we also see that early academy going down for Sherman hasn't added on any extra barracks or anything just yet. Looking like just wants to get the infrastructure set up to get his +1, get his academy upgrades on the way. Maybe looking for some pressure a little later on.
See the second gas coming from Art of Turtle. Layer isn't up yet, so no Spire just yet, but it's probably coming very, very soon.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be a nice stable way of doing this if he got in the Terran base to see that it was that very fast command center, so he has an idea of what's going on at least. So I don't think he's expecting any kind of weird stuff. Just going for that super old standard 3-hatch muta. It seems like what's going to be. And we do see that Spire going down and link speed about to finish. Really just confirming for a nice stable game plan.
I'm looking forward to this. Let's see. Spire coming down. First medic's out. He's just now making his creep colonies up at the front. Although with this many Marines, that should be good for now.
Yeah, you do try to get ahead of the time and make the creep colonies. Not a rush into to be sunkens right away, but this gives them, if they're already finished, it gives them time. If he sees the push out, he can make the sunkens before they arrive.
Very true. Do you, by any chance, know like the rough Marine to sunk count? Because right now he's got 9 Marines.
Do not.
Yeah, neither do I, unfortunately. Just eyeballing it, I think 2 sunks is enough for that, but I could be wrong. Very well might be wrong.
I mean, so you really don't want to keep investing more into creep colonies anyway than you can, because as you can see, the Spire just finishing up, and the money lines up just perfectly to get that initial 9 mutas to really, that's what's going to defend you against these kind of early Marine push, rather than something else.
Let's see.
We do see Sherman Doom going up to the 5 racks, having the +1, Academy upgrades, just that. I love this kind of like style where it's just like a bunch of Marine medic getting a lot of things, and then you go in science vessels a little later, and it does feel like a really organic way to get a lot of economy established with a good, scary mid-game army.
Well, the mutas are out, so it looks like our turtle's going to try to slow down this little clump of Marines. So good a job he does.
You can actually even see Sherman Doom going in a little bit of an interesting path, and walks right into the mutas, gets a couple little free shots, and now has to decide, are they fighting the mutas or are they going to start dancing around?
I wonder if that was intentional to try to catch the mutas in their path, or if it was just accidental pathing. Either way, he's doing a lot of damage on these Marines. He's going to kill all of them, it looks like.
Yeah, definitely gets a lot done. The medics are going to be able to return home, though. We're still like macroing out of all these barracks, so he's not feeling too bad. Already has some turrets sent up also in his natural and by his production line. So these mutas are starting to get a little bruised, and we're going to have that armory back up and running soon. We'll have to see if Sherman Doom can repair these turrets fast, though. And actually, you see our turtle not even risking it with how much bruise is on the medics. It's not worth it.
He does have 9, though, and I've heard 9 is the magic number. Oh, he just lost 1. Ooh.
Yeah, he's going to start losing a lot really soon, though, because as you can see, there's a good amount of them about at half health at this point. And now they're kind of trapped in that no man's land between the barracks. He's trying to catch some of the reinforcements, but now that we have that kind of big group of Marines built up again, and the +1 weapons being finished, he's got to be very careful.
On the plus side, though, our turtle is expanding behind this. It does have that Hydra Den, and looks like Lurker Aspect is almost finished. And he's getting +1 Carapace as well.
Yeah, we're actually even seeing a pretty fast Queen's Nest, looking to really get towards those defilers that are going to give him play against this mass Bioforce before there's a big critical amount of the science vessels to really deflect that.
Yeah, Starport's just now coming down. It's building 2.
Yeah, nothing about that unusual at all. You want to be getting these science vessels out fast, because you gotta assume you're gonna lose some of them to Scourge, and you want to make sure that it's not just like one irradiant has to be perfect, otherwise you lose. So usually getting these double starport production really helps you go. Trying to push up this ramp though, but there's plenty of units here. I don't advise going up this too much further.
Yeah, there's a Lurker up there too. Plus there's a Ling flank coming in. Yeah, this isn't looking good for Shroomadoom. Well, then again, if he runs these Lings in...
yeah, that's a lot of
that is a lot
Ling
of
mutas to catch this group in the middle of the field. He's going to be doing some good damage, even if it's just both sides really reducing their numbers. If you can keep resetting the Marine meta count over and over like this, it's actually not that bad for the Zerg.
Yeah, but it looks like this base is not going to be broken anytime soon. Got 2 Lurkers at the ramp. 3 more morphing.
Yeah, so now we gotta be looking at the Terran base and figure out, well, what's the plan going from here? Are we committing to like 2 base? We're gonna try to get some attack, some damage done, or is he looking to secure an area to get a 3rd? And I don't see a CC started just yet, so looking like maybe we want to get some damage done.
I would agree with that, because it looks like he's not building science vessels yet. He's going for dropships.
Okay, that's awesome. That's actually rad.
Interesting. Let's see.
You can even if you look at the units that we see, there's that normal kind of unit lead for Terran that you expect. There usually is down a little bit, but the worker count's even pretty even between the two. So this dropship really might be able to pull some of this Zerg army out of there, because you already see like there's 4 Sunkens up at the front. He's getting some lurkers morphed, so he's got to be careful. But these dropships might be able to just navigate everything.
Yeah, it depends on what angle he comes in, though. Our turtle has some good overlord spread on the left and right side of his main, at least.
Yeah, I would be so terrified, because you try to go on with some dropships, you're just 2 Scourge away from getting really mad. And a couple Lings actually going around this army, you're going to be able to run all the way to the front, because confirms there's no close 3rd location taken yet. And he's going to see that the army's not waiting at the front either if he wants to, but he's looking really hard trying to find out if Terran took that 3rd base or what he needs to be worried about. Ling's in the center too, just barely missing those dropships.
Oh no. Well, it looks like he's going to be able to clean this up pretty quickly, but... Well... Oh. I was going for the Hydra Den first. Would you say that's a better choice over the... Oh, is he going to get that? Oh, no. Oh, he's going to lose all these Marines.
I don't know how much I agree with what he did here. Here comes those Scourge on those dropships, like I was saying.
I feel like that would have gone better if he had committed to one target or another, but... He flip-flopped between a few things. The Hatch and then the Hydra Den didn't get either.
Yeah. We do got a Ling attack up the front. Seeing how much armor is committed towards that attack, see if he can bust his way through with a couple of these lurkers. Bunker about to go down, looking like it's going to do some good damage with this lurker Ling counter.
It does have plenty of detection, but not anything to really kill it with.
Yeah. This drop continuing in the main, pushed off all the drones from the main mineral line as well, but still getting some pretty good value out of this tech choice. And not really getting any critical tech buildings, but getting some drones, getting some overlords. But meanwhile, these lurkers up at that, in the natural for the Terran, this is brutal. It looks like they've done so much damage.
Oh, so much red. He went for it and it just did not work.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you deal with this now as the Terran player? You got some Irradius, you gotta kind of just wait your way out of that, because, like, you can't leave that choke to get out there. Like, you're walking to a bunch of lurkers through a choke, you're just gonna lose everything.
At this point, he's just stuck on one base, and he can't really move at all. At least until he gets more energy on the science vessels.
And you can even see that, like, we only have the CC, like, partially in production right now. With our turtle moving back out into the middle of the map, he's going to be hard-pressed to actually secure this third, depending if these lanes want to keep going in or just make sure that third can't get taken.
And the really scary thing is it's only a matter of time before defilers get in here as well. And if he can't push back these lurkers before then, well, it looks like he's about to.
Yeah, lots of damage done, though. Both the economy getting reset a little bit. The one thing we did see with our turtle committing so much to these counterattacks didn't actually take a fourth base. So even though the situation did do a lot of damage, there was a lot of damage taken from both sides, and that actually isn't as bad as I thought it was going to look.
No, that's true. I think it's a little telling, though. At the moment, our turtle is up about 15 supply, which is never a spot you really want to be in as the non-Zerg player.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the filers now on the field, but still would love to see our turtle trying to take that fourth base and keep their game plan going. Looking like they're very committed to just trying to deny Terran off the third instead.
Yeah, it looks like he's wanting to build up a force and just keep him contained until he runs out of money.
I think that's a very reasonable game plan. Scourge coming in and get one of the science vessels too. Great value since they're so far ahead of the Marines.
Just slowly irradiating these lurkers one by one. But he's got another group of Ling Lurker coming in. See what he can get done.
It's definitely going to be a hard force to fight. And then we don't have the filers with it, I don't think, though.
Oh, there's one there.
There it is. Never mind. I just couldn't see it. I forgot to switch back to Carbot, so I can't see. I'm used to seeing it in cartoons.
Oh, goodness. He's running past all of this. Interesting. I don't think that's really enough to do much.
With this many lurkers, you can't afford to fight it. I think you may either have to wait for some more army and like wait out these dark storms, or threaten some kind of counterattack and hope the Zerg just tries to pull back. But I think you see right now, there's so many lurker shots, and with the dark storm here, like, how are you ever going to attack that? We do see a bunch of Scourge flying over that little group of Marines moving up to the north side. But even most of those get through, we're going to do very big damage to a lot of these science vessels.
Oh, that was 3 that just went down. Yeah, Shermadoon just can't hang on. GG's.
Yeah, and that wasn't a bad game from either player. I love doing that drop from the Terrans, but I just think both players staying on the bases they did, just maybe the Zerg tech got them the edge.
Well, that's one game for our Zerg assistant coach, Arda Turtle.
Yeah, seems that way. Gonna be hoping up the next one in a second.
Alrighty.
And this one's gonna be between Ben Elton and Arda Turtle. So we got your Zervers Pro.
Oh, wonderful. I don't really know much about Ben Elton. I've seen his name around, but that's been about it.
Getting into this one, so hopefully we're both a little more knowledgeable about this. But
Now. So in the top middle, we've got Arda Turtle spawning once again in the same position. This time he's a red Zerg. And then the bottom right, we've got a yellow Protoss, Ben Elton.
yeah, I'm expecting, because like if you looked at the game that Arda Turtle played there, that looked like stock standard 3-hatch, Muta, lurkers, like, so I'm expecting like a similar kind of very standardized Zerg versus Protoss. It's just, is it going to be a longer macro game, or is he just going to say this map sucks and go 3-hatch?
First pylon going down for Ben Elton. And the immediate scout. Looks like they're both going to be skying in the wrong direction, but for Zerg, that's what you do in this case. Something tells me you're looking for tier 1.
So out of curiosity, when we're when you're thinking about this matchup, we're both around the same kind of level player. If you had like infinite micro and better skill and stuff, would you open with Forge or Gateway for expansion?
I'd say Gateway. I don't do that normally, but if I could handle it, I'd say Gateway for sure. You really need to get that pressure on as soon as you can. And I feel like I've had too many games lately where I've just been sitting there and just get contained and I can't break out easily because, well, I'm not good enough, honestly. But it looks
I
like
think
Ben
that's
Elton
very
is
fair,
starting with
and
the
that's what we're
Gateway.
seeing this game.
Yep.
Yeah, I do love the ease that you get from the Forge expand, where it's just like, yo, nothing's gonna happen to me. We'll be fine. But I would love to be able to do gateway. Just watching like pros or higher end players do a good gateway expand, really put the pressure on with these zealots. It's beautiful to watch. When you see the probe gets in the main base, it sees it about the right timing of when this spawning pool's finished, and see how many eggs are on the way. So it has an idea of how many links to expect from this.
It looks like one pair of lings making at the moment. That's probably all he'll make for a little while yet. At least until he sees a zealot.
I mean, he's gonna have to be making more links soon. That zealot going across the map. You can't skimp too hard against this build.
Oh no, definitely not.
Hella Bacon, it is Urk Ashen, a tier 2 Protoss, and it's Saetzero, also tier 2 Protoss. So we're gonna try not to be homers for the matchup, but we're just looking to see some good game.
Oh, for sure.
Unfortunately, that probe started going down without like any link speed or anything. A little unforced it feels. That we just see that one zealot just hanging outside natural, not going to commit. But with 6 links made, it can be really easy to pick this off before it becomes a problem.
It looks like another zealot coming to join him, but at this point, he's got 8 lings now. It looks like. I don't know how much he's going to be able to get done, other than just annoy him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all you're really looking to do with this kind of build, though. I mean, like, pressure's nice. You're forcing lings, not drones. And you get some scouting info, but if you, like, lose the zealots carelessly, the game turns really bad really quickly, which is why I can't do this build anymore. And that one zealot getting caught out, getting killed for free, now we're looking at some pressure for the Protoss player.
Other zealot going into the main and not turning around. Although there aren't any cannons, the forge is just about to finish now.
I mean, I like doing this with the zealot into the main. You need to buy yourself time. So he's just going like, I'm going to get scouting info, chase this zealot, don't run straight to my bait.
Well, it looks like our turtle is sending quite a few zerglings down there, but I think these cannons... Yeah, it looks like he's got enough to hold this, as long as he gets everything in position in time.
Yeah, the big thing you gotta worry about if you're trying to block this kind of stuff off is if it's link speed or not. But since he does have the zealots blocking that gap, he even has approach just to make sure there's no way to sneak through. And with 2 cannons finished, they were spotted by the Overlord. He doesn't even have to like try poking and find out if he can do this or not.
Yeah, with 2 cannons there and another 2 zealots. Although there is a hole right here between this. Well, another zealot just popped out. Never mind.
Yeah,
Moments
there was
ago,
a probe
there
just there.
was a hole.
Yeah. And a little miss rally. You see that drone off to the side of the natural, hanging out with his buddy Zerglings. Actually, another drone moving across the map. Maybe a little unfortunate rally points.
Ben Elton's sending out a probe. I'm not quite sure what he's looking for here, other than maybe just some sky information.
I think the big thing you would be looking for right now is if you can get an idea of, did he take a third? Where is it? Is it really saturated? Maybe some kind of information like that. And if the probe doesn't get killed off, you can have it on the map to keep scouting, and it's already in position to maybe take your third.
Well, he sees that he didn't take the other natural, so looks like the next stop is up here.
Yeah, one link's going to catch it. With link speed done, though, this should be able to be killed before it goes up there, maybe?
Oh, no, not quite.
Dang.
So Ben Elton does know that Zerg has at least taken a third.
Yep, and we are seeing, even though things got a little dicey with the opening between both players, we have that Stargate just about to finish, so we are going to get some Corsairs in the field, as the Spires being produced as well. So we didn't just like skip all that, go straight for a bunch of Hydras from our Zerg player. Curious to see if it is actually going to be Mutas, or if it's just for some Scourge to dissuade the Corsairs.
Bill Mountain is getting +1 air weapons.
Yeah, this is the kind of build I don't do it with the gateway opening, but this is the kind of build I like to play where you get this, you get both the upgrades for the air and the ground, and you produce enough Corsairs. It's like if you see they're not muted, you can start cutting back on them, but having a group of a couple Corsairs that have the +1, they're so much more dangerous, both in defending against the Scourge and in killing Overlords if they didn't go mutas in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's something I need to change about my play personally, because I don't normally get +1, and I probably ought to. But he does see the Spire finished, so he can presume that some Scourge are about to pop out pretty soon. He does also see the Hydra Den and another hatch at the front. And he just turns the Corsair around and starts looking for Overlords. Looks like he just missed this one.
Well, I mean, he's just trying to make sure he doesn't get killed by a Scourge, heading right back to the safety of his cannons. I don't think Ben got a chance at the third, though, to see that there's 3 hatches up there, so we're up to that 6-hatch Hydraless mid-game, looking for that big macro aggression.
There's a cannon in the main to stop the Scourge from camping over that Stargate, so it looks like he'll get a few more out. +1 air weapon's about to finish. And moving out with these Zealots.
Yeah, all the upgrades about to finish about the same time, and since we don't have carapace finish for these Zerglings, once they get speed in that +1, these Zealots destroy that group of Zerglings, so
And speed just
really
finished.
respecting that and pulling back way ahead of time.
Looks like he's going straight for the main. Will these Sunks be up in time? I don't think so. No.
Oh, they are not going to be up. It's a pretty good wall up, but he can just go ignore this and go straight for those Sunkens. Drones actually having to get pulled, trying to just push things around a little bit, make this more difficult to deal with.
He's still getting a lot of damage done, and now he's just running past the Sunks straight into the main. And there's absolutely nothing here.
Yeah, and you just see how many Scourge got made here. No mutas to help fight these Zealots, so you got to be very careful. And
No
if
mutas.
he doesn't do enough damage with these Lings, he might be able to take out the Spire.
Looks like he will clean this up, but he's going to have to make a few more Lings. Well, sending him a few more Lings, I should say, to do that. Meanwhile,
But
he's
you can
poking
already
with some
see that
Corsairs.
Yeah, you can see this is exactly the kind of stuff you want to be doing. You're getting that aggression in, forcing a lot of units. The drone count from Turtle hasn't really changed. He hasn't taken that 4th base yet. And with these Overlords on the hunt looking for stuff, he's got to keep making stuff like some Scourge, or he's going to just really be in trouble.
So attack going down the main at the same time as some Scourge are chasing some Corsairs around, but looks like he's turned around at the main. Oh, I think he's going to get these Corsairs, at least a couple of them. One Scourge
you have
hit.
a couple Corsairs meeting up with it that might be able to defend.
Well, he did get one.
End up losing 2 of them, so it could have been definitely worse. But now that we got from the Protoss force, we got a couple High Templar, we got an Archon ready as well, and another wave of Zealots moving out of the map. Just wants to keep putting that pressure.
Another Corsair going down the bottom left, so he's keeping that Corsair count relatively low.
Yeah, that's something you definitely gotta keep putting your pressure on. It's also that kind of thing where you just, if you keep doing this, and you finally see, all right, they're done making more Corsairs, then you can consider maybe getting some mutas. Don't know about this attack of the natural though. SimCity and all these Hydra are gonna make it much harder to get to the Sunken this time.
Yeah, that's not nearly enough to break that. No Dragoons in there at all.
Yeah, when they moved out with the army, it had 2 High Templars. I thought he was going to keep them for Storm, but actually got the 2nd Archon instead.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I don't know about that. Archon's not the greatest against Hydras.
Yeah, I think the decision might have been made either just to move a little faster across the map because of how slow High Templars are, or the fact that until then you didn't really see Hydras on the defense. It was like almost exclusively Link Scourge to deflect these attacks. So he was maybe trying to metagame that a little bit and be like, if you want to stay on Lings, we can do that.
Another attack coming in at the front, but this SimCity is really good. Yeah, he's got to back off.
I like that he keeps threatening with these Corsairs up at these Overlords like there might be Dark Templar in the mix. But these Corsairs getting caught out by the Hydras now. This is tragic to lose all these for them.
Oh, So didn't quite catch it in time. Protoss going up to, looks like 8 gates.
Yeah, around there. That sounds like good for the amount of bases. Establishing that third base, about to finish up very soon. The one thing I do want to see coming up soon, though, for Protoss is we still don't see a robotics facility finished. It's nearing it, though. And with lurker research on the way, gotta always be careful that you have observers in time for that lurker. And I think this is actually funny. You see Ben Allen setting up to take a fourth base, Archer staying on 3, tons of Hydras, and just, like, it feels like it's maybe a little flip-flopped on who has so many bases, but Ben Allen's army getting really caught out, and Hydra's mowing right through all these zealots.
Using everything there. He's got another group down here. If he gets good storms, it should be enough to hold out everything off, but looks like Artural's not going to capitalize on that yet.
I wouldn't take this Protoss force into the middle of the world right now. Like, you gotta make them come to you, group up, so these storms can hit for much higher value. We got another rally point problem from our turtle, though. I see like 10 drones just walking across the map to join up with the Hydras.
Oh, goodness. I wonder if he's setting them on the units themselves. That'd be interesting.
I mean, he was reinforcing with Hydras for so long. I think that's the easy kind of thing. Because that's one of the biggest changes that if you come from StarCraft 2, you have to get used to with the Zerg units. That you don't have two different rallies from the hatcheries.
Ooh, beautiful
great
storm
on these Hydra clumps.
That took out so many Hydras. Oh, but now there are lurkers out. I don't see any observers. He's got the robo. I don't see an observatory anywhere.
Yeah, me neither. Maybe in the panic of all these fights, forgot to get that going. He was working on the robo, so had it planned. But once you get hit by a couple times lurkers, that's like your immediate like, oh crap, I forgot, and you already see that observatory halfway.
You know, our turtle is taking that mineral only in the top right.
Also taking that pseudo high ground one below his main as well, so getting up that 5 base Zerg. Meanwhile, Benel taking a fourth. Yeah, taking a fourth where he has it. That just looks weird to me, right? I thought those pylons like in the Nexus were a little off, but I guess it just looks weird on that spot.
Yeah, I suppose it does. I wonder if that's just. Yeah, I suppose it's.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. It just looks off. Army moving across the map without the observer. Yes, so taking a couple more free shots, but doesn't lose anything critical.
Doesn't lose anything, but some of those zealots were softened up a little bit. That may matter here in the near future, but. Ooh, bad rally on the Overlord.
I'm curious to see what the next step is for our players, because I'm looking like it's still the Zerg still just on Lair Tech, hasn't worked towards that. Has a Queen's Nest, but hasn't started Hive. And Defilers are still really good in this matchup. It's not just the Zerg versus Terran unit.
Yeah, our Turtle's getting Carapace +2, it looks like. But no melee attacks, so Lings are probably a little ways away.
I mean, the big thing is just you gotta keep up the armor upgrades against these zealots. Otherwise, Lings just aren't an option anymore.
Uh-oh. High Templar getting up here. Looks like it doesn't even need them, though. Everything just falling.
Yeah, we do see Ben Allen attacking towards that mineral base, but trying to be pretty slow about it. These Dragoons actually getting him a lot of damage without getting surrounded by anything. And we see a little tiny counterattack from some Hydras, it looks like, but he should be able to clean up his mineral if he's careful. Just, he's going to lose that, but, you know, I think there's enough units waiting where he ain't going to be able to push much further.
One thing I'm a little concerned about is there is only one observer with this army. But there's also no overlords to see it. It's Corsair flying around making sure of that. That's just so many Hydras going down.
Yeah, but you can see this Protoss army falls very quickly once you start losing all those zealots. Dragoons and Archons both take a lot of damage from Hydras very quickly, so The attack was looking really good, getting stifled for now, but here comes that second wave from Ben Alden with a couple more observers to alleviate your concern.
Just falling a little behind the rest of the army. No observer speed there yet.
You don't observer speed is very. I think it's a choice thing in this matchup because if you have it real often, it's really easy to move them into danger.
That is very true. I personally like to get it just because I like to have them keep up with the army, but it looks like our
You see
turtle
his
is
attack going through on that fourth base for our turtle, and this is looking like it's going to be good. Like the army from our turtle trying to go in from the side just isn't significant enough from each side, so they're kind of diving as they go into the fight. You're going to have to give up that base, I think. But here comes some lurkers. We'll see if they can get something done with these.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all falling pretty quickly. It looks like he is going to get to the space.
When you keep up on those zealot attack upgrades, they can still fight lurkers. So you just gotta be quick about it. We actually see him. He's going straight into the natural too. The attack's not quite done yet, and there wasn't any more sunkens or anything added to their foot. So when we reset all the units, these cells actually getting in and going to start doing some damage here too.
Yep, and Ben Elton looks like he's running a little low on army up here, but at the natural we see we've got a huge group left of Zealots and Dragoons and a couple High Templar ready to reinforce.
And you can even see, even with all this, the attack's going so well, Ben Elton's still thinking later game and took that left side main as well for his own personal base.
Yeah, I just don't think our turtle's going to have enough to hold on here. Ben Elton's got just so much.
Yeah, this is going to be very hard to fight your way back into. Like, we have the hive, we got the filer, but like I don't even see any of those units on the field really being effective. I feel like it's been on Ling Hydra for a significant amount of time. And when for us, just making so much stuff that's well upgraded, that's hard to keep that flow up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Zerg fell behind on upgrades or if Ben Elton was just on top of things, but yeah, the GG is called. There just wasn't enough stuff.
Yeah, I don't think anything about that game was played, like misplayed or anything. It's just like Ben Elton was a little quicker on getting the bases, and then it felt like our turtle stalled out taking their fourth. Like was on that 3 base aggression for a while, and then tried to double expand. And it just the economy never kicked into the defend either of them. It felt like then it kind of slowly fell as the game hit.
Yeah, either way, very well played from Ben Elton.
Well, if you think that game was well played, you're going to be excited to see another Ben Elton CVP, this time versus Ling Pump.
Lingapump, yeah.
No, it's Ling Pumps for me. I'm American. I can do these things.
Yeah, so, Lingapumpa.
I mean, Ben looked like they had a real good grasp of how they want to play that matchup. So I'm curious if they do the same opener again, if they do that gateway expand into a kind of let's get +1 on everything, or if they're going to do something else here. I always love seeing if there's players that have like that one stable build that they do all the time, or if they like if people at this level, they at that point like it doesn't cut anymore. You need to do a bunch of stuff.
In the bottom left, we've got IRK Lingapumpa spawning as the red Zerg. And in the middle top, we got Ben Elton as the blue Protoss. Lingapumpa sending out that Overlord toward that natural at the bottom right base, but gonna be a little disappointed when he finds nothing there.
Such is life when you play as Zerg. You take that 50-50 shot. You don't go off feel, you go off of statistics. Which one should you go for? And that's always the one with the closer attachment.
Now, is it just me, or is this pylon a little far forward? I wonder what he's going to be doing.
It does feel like a different kind of wall, maybe. I'm used to seeing it a little further back. One of the things, if you know exactly where you're going to put your nexus and it's not going to block it, the further back you are, the more effectively you can add cannons to a wall to fight against something that would be like a 3-hatch Hydra all in or something. But when you put it really far forward, that could get in the way and start messing with that a little. And here's that gateway again. Venom showing off that he's got that composure early game to not lose his zealots in a dumb way and immediately lose the game.
It looks like Lingapump not going for that early spawning pool and opting instead for an early hatchery.
This is dangerous because I like going hatch first against someone going forge opening. That makes a lot of sense. At best, they get the Protoss scouts it early and then just cuts like getting cannons for a faster nexus. But when they go gateway opening and you don't have a spawning pool, especially if you were trying to be a little extra greedy, Lingapump didn't do any of that though. Immediately got that spawning pool as fast as they could. Didn't try to sneak an extra drone or two. It confirms that gateway first opening. So it might get a little weird.
I can only imagine how he's feeling after seeing that. He's probably a little worried. I know I would be. But I've got confidence in him. I've played several games against him, and he's really good.
Yeah, I casted some of their games from the last season, and they definitely impressed. They had pretty good knowledge of all the matchups. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this. Honestly, every game we're going to see tonight, all the players in this group are so high level that I'm just excited to be casting this one.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I gotta be honest, I'm a little nervous to be casting this one because these people know what they're doing and I do not. So.
Well, this is why we're not telling them, oh, you're messing this up. We're just casting for entertainment, right?
Very
That's
true.
That's what you gotta do. Or we're casting for our own personal scouting analysis. Like, ooh, that looks, ooh, I can steal that. Ooh.
Lingapump making 6 Zerglings. But Ben Elton with that Zealot in the very annoying spot.
Well, actually, the one little thing that Ben Elton was doing that some of the lower players don't know about is he kept that probe with the Zealot, and if you hit a Zergling with a probe one time, then the Zealot will finish it in 2 hits. So it's like a little movable +1 up. So like he was doing that, he was very particularly doing that with the probe, hitting one Ling one time, hitting the next Ling one time. And that's why they actually killed as many Lings as they did before the Zealot guard.
Lingapump, I noticed, built a pretty early gas. I'm not sure if that was for speed or if he's going for something else, but
I am like 100% sure that's supposed to be for speed, because if you see it's going to be this kind of gateway opener, it's going to be Zealots for so significantly long, and speedlings are so much better versus them. These Zealots get into a little spot where they're going to get a nice little concave to fight these Lings. Now, you already see Lingapump having to deal with the good thing that you get when you do this gateway opening is you put this pressure on. Look at how many drones they have at this point. They just finished the 3rd hatchery, still only down to 12. You can't really get that macro going just yet.
yeah, he's not too far behind in workers just yet, but
Yeah, and actually Lingapump not getting that Zergling speed, going straight into Lair, maybe just banking the gas for some kind of Muta play later. That is one of the things to think about with the gateway openings. It's because you want to build so many Zealots and you want to get all this stuff going, you tend to delay your gas and your tech really significantly, so you don't have the same timing on Corsair production.
yeah, it looks like second gas going down for Protoss, but no, there's the Stargate. So if Lingapump does end up going for Mutas, he should at least something to hold that off.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have a little something, but this is the kind of thing that you might be advised to start considering when you have to make cannons in your mineral lines. Because if you look at the gas buildup that Lang's going through now, Spire's just starting up. We already got plenty on the way with like a bunch of gas still being banked. That's going to be able to get at least enough Mutas to deflect Zealots on the field. But it would still be enough where if there's only one Corsair, you can fight that straight on.
Yeah, I imagine that's got to be a little spooky for Ben Elton. And I have to imagine he knows what's going on, too, because he did see that early gas. Or at least he might have an inkling.
I would definitely say if you would have the idea now, because like he's moving again with the Zealots, move out, maybe just trying to bait into making some units. And until just literally now, he saw the Lings running away slow. So he didn't see a fast Ling speed. So that's the only, what else are you going to do with a bunch of gas early if you're not rushing for Ling speed? It has to be.
Yet he's not going for any cannons in the main just yet, or in the natural, really. Just 2 at the front.
I mean, not quite yet. You do have an idea of the timing because you can see the spire's not done yet. So if you're really knowledgeable about the timing, you don't have to worry about it immediately. But there is going to be a time where I think it would be a good idea because you can see right now we can already afford 6 mutas, almost 7. And he doesn't even know that the Zerg didn't take that second gas until just now.
And it looks like it is going to be mutas from Lingapumpa. Looks like 6, maybe 7 making?
Yeah, this is my nightmare.
Yeah, mine too. He's going for gateways. Yeah, I don't think Ben Elton knows about this.
Yeah. So alternatively, when you're going for this, if you're not going to go for these cannons, if you have the idea that it's going to be mutas, he's adding on these gateways. If you built high Templars and had Archons ready, it makes it a lot easier to deflect. But he does have these 2 Corsairs. They spot the 3rd, but they're not rushing in to see the tech. They're not going to see mutas. They're just going to get some Overlord kills. Here comes his Scourge. Don't lose that first.
Oh,
he
that's
loses
bad.
One Corsair. That's real bad.
Meanwhile, the muta's coming into the main base. I don't think he started Storm yet either.
Oh, hey, I do see something cool from Ben Elton that might get him back in this game. There's a KP boy walking across the field towards that 3rd that all the Overlords just died at.
Oh, there he is. I was absolutely blind.
Yeah, lots of mutas though in the main. Can's trying to go up to deflect this, but not there before they get there. These mutas doing gigantic damage. That's just not enough anti-air to deal with.
Oh, and Ben Elton pulls away that Zealot too before it starts hitting anything. So Lingapump is still in the dark about this until just now. Now he's pulling away those drones, but that was several drone kills. How many was that? 6. 6 kills on the Dark Templar.
Yeah, there's a lot of probe kills to go with it, so both players doing a good job harassing each other to keep them slow in the game now.
And no drones mining at this 3rd base. That Dark Templar just sitting there waiting. Meanwhile, Ben Elton's got an Archon, 2 Archons making, a couple High Templar. It looks like he's successfully held off these mutas.
They pulled back for defense, so it looked like they're going to be useful for that. But I mean, still forcing the mutas, and you can see from Ben Allen, he's skipping on his Corsair production just to make sure you can get other things established he needs also. So if these mutas go back in for more attacks or try to keep poking at aggression, like an easy example, these mutas could be poking down that Templar Archives from the left and nothing could stop it. We gotta be very careful. You see Ben Allen moving out though with a couple of Archons, so that's gonna be the kind of thing that maybe you don't attack with some mutas.
Just clearing out all those Lings.
Dark Templar are the best, man. They really are.
I need to make those things more. I've heard they're pretty good.
Well, apparently you don't play Protoss the way you're supposed to play Protoss.
Yeah, I guess
like
I don't.
PvT. I like honest macro games. Like, yeah, of course you don't do them.
Have you heard about the wonders of PvT?
I love PvT, man. That's my favorite matchup. We got an attack going in at the 3rd, though. 3 Archons, and when all you have is a couple Hydras and some Scourge waiting for the Corsairs that are never going to come, like, you have to give this base up. I don't know how you...
Yeah, I don't think you can. There's a few mutas here, but...
Oh, here comes a giant wave of Hydras. Actually, they should look like they're going to get here in time. When there's no storm or anything. Not all the Zealots are dead. These going to be able to kill these Archons pretty quickly with Hydras.
Did that Dark Templar die in that? I lost track of him.
I'm not sure. He's invisible. Hard to tell. Oh no, these mutas catch this rally point on this High Templar. Tragedy.
Well,
This phase of the game, you cannot afford to throw away 150 gas.
Yeah, Ben Elton doesn't really have that much gas at the moment either. He's got 2, but he doesn't have really much banked at all.
He's been spending it very aggressively on these Templar units. He is building towards Sonic Storm. Not researched yet, but it's on the way. And starting that next weapons upgrade as well. So, Ben, going right back to the plan he had in the other game, just the spot's very different looking compared to what we were looking at before. Both players on lower economies, not really trying to expand much further, putting a lot of pressure on each other, rather than kind of a little more of a stalemate because both forces are too scary to attack into.
Lincoln has got a pretty big bank, though, at the moment. I'm just worried about him having enough larvae to remake things.
I mean, he's got the 5 hatcheries, so I mean, you can definitely get some good production out of this.
Oh, and losing a group of those mutas to that Archon. Oh, and there's nothing at that Mattrel, so he just runs straight in and starts killing some drones. Oh.
Oh, that's brutal.
And running into the main as well.
Yeah, Limpum actually not even pulling the drones, just kind of finally pulling them now, but might lose a little bit of damage here. And if you're looking as Ben Elton and you're seeing the tech here, you're not seeing Queen's Nest, you're seeing the units as they get made. Although you keep losing High Templars to this rally point, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, right now his army is nothing but High Templar and Zealots. Maybe the occasional Archon.
I mean, I think I feel real comfortable with that Speed Zealot with High Templar behind it when you're fighting against exclusively Hydras. I feel good about that.
Can you even make Hydras without a spawning pool? Because he just lost his.
You just need the Hydrogen.
Just the Hydrogen, okay. At least he knows no Lings are coming. Although, at this point, I don't think they'd be very strong. Not with this many Zealots with +1.
And especially the +2 nearing on the way as well. And I don't think there is the armor upgrade for Zerg. No, there's no armor upgrade, so these Zealots definitely be effective against Lings. I think just trying to... We're getting some storms down. Not hitting super great just yet. That one better.
Losing a High Templar in the process, but still getting a really good storm off. A lot of these Hydras are pretty bruised. And behind this, he's taking a third.
There's just one High Templar with like 180 energy. Don't get picked off. It's at the front of the lines. It needs to start casting Storm. This is giving me anxiety.
Lincoln not with that much supply in terms of cap. Looks like he's going to have to start making some Overlords soon. Has Ben Elton been picking some off? I must have missed it if he has.
I think there's been a couple picked off here and there, but it's not like Linkpump's had a lot with the army, even though with someone saying things like, you know, they have Dark Templar, you figure you would keep more with the army, but yeah, I think it's just like scrambling around with the game state it's in. Feels a little frantic. But I'd say like at this point, you're looking at the way we're looking, Linkpump hasn't tried to start taking the 4th base, not adding on extra hatcheries, just really just committing to I need units now. And not like, it doesn't look like they're considering the next step as much, just because of the pressure that Elton's putting on them.
It looks like he hasn't even rebuilt the spawning pool yet. I guess he's pouring all that money into Hydras, but...
Yeah, I mean, Hydra's going to do real good, but when you have a giant group like that, you are one storm away from throwing the game. Though we have another group flanking from the south side as well, so Ben Elton trying to push out, might get caught in a bad position, has to be careful.
I don't know, that's a lot of Zealots.
It's a lot of Hydras too. We even had a group from the side, still hasn't engaged in yet. Getting a couple storms down, doing pretty good jobs hitting these Hydra groups. If Linkpump doesn't engage with this other group of the army, though, I think this is enough from Ben Elton to overrun it.
Yeah, this would be a really good engage too if he came in from behind. Pick off all those Dragoons.
Oh man, if that was like a clean engage from Zerg with both halves of that army, I think you clean up Bellar's force immediately and kill a base on a counterattack. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way. We see the we're running out of High Templars, going into Archons now, and it should be able to clean this army up eventually. But Ben Elton keeps drilling his way through, getting some like kills here and then, resetting Linkpump's stats on the game, really keeping him down on that 3 base and not being able to afford to tech up.
Which is really unfortunate too, because Ben Elton's getting his 4th now. And he's doing a very good job of macroing. Yeah, another group of Zealots about to come down. Linkapumpa just now cleaning that attack up.
Yeah, I love that he just keeps putting this pressure on. Even if the trades aren't particularly great, they're not like tragically bad for Ben Elton, but it's like we're trading armies, so we're going to sit back where he was. Except I started my next base. Like, and they're feeling good about their situation. When you have Protoss outnumbering Zerg bases, that is tragedy.
Yeah, this isn't looking good for our Zerg hero.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! We're calling them the Zerg hero? What kind of traitor are you? You're a Protoss player. You're not supposed to call the Zerg heroes. You're supposed to go that they're nonsense, they're ridiculous, and overpowered.
Well, I
We
gotta
need
play
to
both sides occasionally.
Nah, you really don't, though. Ooh, we're seeing a little shuttle action from Bell and Ellen with a couple Zealots in there. I would love to have seen like a Storm in there, because Storm drops, that clears drones faster than anything in history.
Especially with these attacks forcing all these drones onto one base or another.
Finally moving up the tech tree a little bit from Wing Pump, though, we're getting that lurker aspect on the way. Still don't see that hive in production, though. But finally adding on an extra hatchery, trying to take that fourth base, as this shuttle's going to move around and see it.
Yeah, and with a big force behind it to back up anything. Well, will this shuttle see anything?
I guess not.
I suppose not, yeah.
Okay,
Just
well,
heading straight
that
for the
means it's
main.
just going to go into the main. No defenses there. Meanwhile, Bell moving out with a big, intimidating army towards the natural, going to divert the attention while he does this little zealot drop.
Yeah, this isn't looking good for Ling Pump. He's mining long distance at this point. And all these Hydras just going down to storms and these goons. It's just rough.
This is very well executed from Ben Elton, though. Although those zealots he dropped do nothing, hasn't gone in for the attack there, focusing too much on that frontline battle. But he's winning it very handily, so I don't blame him at all for that.
And Ling Pump just taps out at this point. Just too much Protoss. Too many.
I think that's just the right amount of Protoss, okay?
Well,
Ben Ellen played a very solid game for this Protoss versus Zerg matchup, and I don't remember the name from last season or anything, so I'm very impressed with seeing him. So
he's doing really well.
right, so we're going in. We got one more from Ben Elton for now. This one's going to be versus Shroom of Doom, so a little Protoss versus Terran.
Oh, awesome. I am looking forward to this. I really like this map for that matchup, too.
I don't.
Well, I think it's a dynamic at the very least. Perhaps not the best for one race or the other, but... So in the bottom left, we've got Ben Elton Spy as the green Protoss. In the bottom right, we've got Shroom of Doom as the purple Terran.
Yeah, I don't think this is a bad matchup for like the Protoss in this thing. I just don't like it because I like the 2-gate goon a lot, and when you have a map without a ramp, you're just saying, but you want a 2-gate goon. Don't work on Nexus first. Don't work on these macro builds. Come on, 2-gate goon, just do it.
But then they expect you to 2-gate goon, and then all you had to do is not do that. And that's where you really get them.
Any Terrors that have played me before this matchup should expect me to 2-gate goon. I do it in every game all the time. I'm a true Protoss player, not a little faker like you.
Ouch, that hurts.
No, it doesn't. That's a compliment. It means you're one of the good ones.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
So, when you play this matchup on this map, what build do you like to do? What do you feel for this kind of 3-player?
Well, I do about the same thing every game. I've been going 21 next lately, but I'm gonna, I think, go back to 2-gate. Like you said, it's just no ramp does make that pretty tempting. And then after that, well, you've got pretty nice area for recall. They can't see over that high ground because they've got this wall around their base. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I actually love this map for recall, especially like in the spawns we have here that open the north part of the Terran main. Beautiful.
5G around the world.
Players seemingly talking about internet connection stuff. It's above my head. I just go that connection's never good, then just get you. Not seeing anything crazy yet from either player. We got its standard, gateway core, gas, like the opening you see 99% of games versus Protoss, because it's what else are you gonna
Yeah, nothing all that ridiculous, but we'll get there. I'm sure we'll get there. We got a Protoss in the game, and he seems to be very good at what he does.
I mean, so one thing I know about this map, talking to some Terran players, that I feel like there is a section of Terran players that do not like this map. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Sherman Doom go for a 2-fac and get that early pressure on, see if they can maybe steal a little bit. Because like we were saying, there's no ramp here. The front wall's a little weird, so it's not like something that you might be super incentivized to just kind of be stable on. Looking like Sherman Doom, it's just saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. Builds a bunker looking like they're setting up for a factory.
Yeah, he's only got 2 in gas at the moment, too, so I don't think he's going to be going for much early aggression, but...
Yeah, I actually appreciate that both players are really skipping on things. We see from Ben Elton didn't get that early Zealot, not fearing some kind of proxy barracks play. We saw from Sherman Doom only getting that single Marine, really speeding up the factory, speeding up the command center.
Mr. Dragoon tracing this SCV just so far out. It looks like it's going to
get the
be
kill.
23 Nexus from Ben Elton.
Yeah, looking like they're just going to go into that stable kind of mid-game, get your fast expansion, probably get a fast robo to see what's going on from the Terran opponent, and just have enough units that you're not super worried. And you can already see the Dragoon immediately going out and trying to see what's going on.
Yeah, does he have range? No, it's not quite done yet.
Yeah, not quite done yet. But we'll be done soon, and we'll have to get some SUVs to pull that back. I don't know if you actually noticed, though, that there's not the usual supply of Marines in that bunker. It's usually 3 or 4, so if you want to really threaten to kill things. But with only 2, you're kind of feigning how strong the defense actually is, and just trusting your opponent's going to do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, it is a little risky, but now he unloads the bunker. So I guess he does see that there are only 2 Marines in there now. I don't know if he's going to do anything with it. I don't think he...
no SUV is here to repair this bunker. Looking like it's going to go down very quickly. 1 SUV isn't going to be enough to do it.
No, it is not.
Ooh,
the bunker does go down.
And he can start threading pressure on this tank, too. Sherman Doom has to be very careful here. This game can go out of hand quickly if he does.
Yeah, unfortunately not really enough goons to capitalize on that tank, so... Oh, now siege mode is done.
Yeah, if there was a third goon for that attack, and he delayed the Nexus just that little bit, he could have broken through there. But, I mean, he did take that economic thing where he didn't have to do damage at the front, has his Nexus already going, so... I feel like this is not like a situation that you feel too bad about as a pro player, right? Or you're like, oh, I could have killed him. Well, you're in a good spot already. You're feeling fine. Now, this is interesting, though. We do have that fast robo. There's a support bay, and we got a shuttle in process. Feeling like early Reavers? Interesting.
Yeah, it's looking like it. It's kind of an awkward angle to drop at, but this is a pretty good map for drops at the very least.
I mean, I do just like, in general, the idea of, because you see where the tanks are all positioned for their siege. Like, you have the Reaver, sure, but if you have a couple Zealots to help you with these tanks, you can really get some stuff done. And you can even see that Venal being very focused on what they're doing as far as, like, the units that they want to build. We haven't even added on extra gateways or anything. Really having a plan to move forward and put some pressure on and maybe expand behind it.
And we can see that he is loading 1 Zealot into that shuttle. And it looks like a Reaver is on the way, so... he's going to be trying to pull a few shenanigans here pretty soon. We'll see if it ends up working, though.
And meanwhile, we got from Sherman Doom, we just added on a second factory, armory on the way, and the academy also on the way for scan. So we're getting all that stuff that you want to see from a Terran player to keep moving forward. But he's not slamming down a ton of factories immediately, so looking like they're still planning to go a little bit later on. Actually, just starting the 3rd one now.
The shuttle speed not quite done yet, but Ben Elton is moving out with his shuttle.
It should be done by the time. Looks like he's going to circumnavigate around that natural, go straight for that north side of the main. I was saying, so much room to drop there. That has to be careful. And we already see that Ben Elton keeping his goons back at home. These vultures, while they're going to be able to mine up base, they're not going to be able to get in and get any probe kills. And here comes that Reaver drop. Let's see what happens.
Oh, is that going to go off? It did. I think I only got 2 SCVs, though.
Oh, man, these L's actually going to kill this tank, too. Very close.
Oh, they turn around and go for that Goliath instead. Oh, that Scarab just glitching out there. Oh, it didn't even explode.
Yeah, because Reavers are just dumb.
I can agree with that.
I mean, this drop wasn't super bad, though. It got some damage, just pulling things off mining, and it's giving him, like, things are staying at home to defend it. It is letting establish that third base as now finisher back.
He did just lose the Reaver, though, which is not what you want to have happen in this situation. But he did at least delay the mining by quite a bit there, even if he didn't get all that many SCVs.
I don't think I feel terrible about that situation. We're seeing another Reaver being built, so Ben Elton wants to give that another shot. He already put the investment in the shell speed, making sure he gets the use out.
So Ben Elton going up to 5 gates at this point. Meanwhile, it looks like we've got a command center being built for Sherman Doom, so he's looking to expand sometime soon.
I mean, I think that it was like when you saw Ben dropping in and was doing all that fight, he did see that it was the smaller factory count. It was 1 armory, not 2. He didn't see a science facility yet, so it didn't look like the kind of build where you're expecting there to be an expansion, because otherwise you'd have a bunch of money. What are you using it on?
Very true. Looks like these vultures just speeding across the map. I'm not sure where he was going there for a second, but I don't think they're going to be able to get anything done with all these goons here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're looking for. Maybe just trying to see if there has been another base from Ben taken other than the third he chose. Because, I mean, that third is there. It's not bad, but it is a mineral only, and you do want to get that extra gas income, especially if you're playing later to go for Arbor.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't really tech toward that all that much yet. Sticking on 6 gates. More pylons going down, but he's really low on gas right now. Which I imagine is not really being helped by that mineral only as opposed to anything else.
I mean, he does have a couple observers. He has been building Reavers. It's not like he has that gas economy he can really afford to be thrown away and waste. I don't want to say wasting, but choosing for stuff that's a little atypical. Well, and you even see here, we're trying to get some vultures into that third base, do some damage. Can there to stop it, but we have that double force. So again, like really going for a lot of gas expenditure that doesn't seem like a lot at first glance, but adds up very quickly.
We got a Reaver drop in the mat.
Alright, we'll see what this gets done. No turrets or anything, right next to the siege tank as well.
Oh, these scarabs are just not doing it.
They're the worst. They're the worst. And looking like he wants to hide that shuttle off in the corner. Needs to be careful though. Starport is there, so he's 1 wraith away from killing that shuttle.
He is setting up this third base though, so it looks like they're both going into a longer game.
This is never the situation I want to see from Protoss. If you know the Terran's taking the third and they're kind of established into what they're doing, you gotta get another base going, or have like that big tech punch to do something. Like maybe you're going carriers, maybe you're going arbiters. But we're just seeing a starport or Stargate started now, and we haven't set up that 4th base just yet. So feels like Ben Elton's gonna be in a little bit of trouble, because just without this gas, like he's gonna go so leaning heavy on gateway units, and I feel like it's gonna be hard to break some of these bases with that.
Yeah, he does have a Stargate
though. Keeps putting the pressure on.
I almost lost that Reaver from the looks of it too. There he is. Yeah, Stargate just finished, and it looks like he's getting the Arbiter Tribunal right now. does have a decent number of gates, and he's getting even more, but
Yeah, definitely not bad given that he's on 3 and trying to set up the 4 base now. I'm not sure how much I like that Ben Elton's so turtled up near his bases, has no presence on the field other than there's a couple observers seeing vultures move out. Wouldn't mind him trying to control the middle map a little bit more than what he's doing now.
yeah, he's really just content to be slowly expanding and out expanding the Terran, at least for now.
Oh, I just learned something new with the Carbot scan. There's a tree in the middle of the map while I do that, and a Dragoon can hide behind it entirely and be completely unseeable. Sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was a Dragoon behind one of these fatter trees, and I couldn't see it at all. I only knew it was there because I was shooting. We're looking at, we've got that attack from Ben, but he's going in Dragoons first, not Zealots. Not what you want to do.
Definitely not. Oh, so much blue goo there, just immediately.
A whole group of Zealots in the back, not doing anything, waiting to go in.
Oh, that's a really good storm, though.
5 tanks, though.
Is this enough to break this?
I think so, absolutely.
Wow, that is pretty surprising to me. That was not looking good initially.
Yeah, I don't like that Ben keeps going for the natural. This sounds like an easy cleanup of a third.
Yeah, he does have...
He's trying to force his way, though, and he's losing a lot of units now. Had a great opportunity, kind of threw it away.
He did get a storm off on a bunch of SCVs, though.
Well, if you look back in the Terran main, this Reaver, relentlessly annoying.
Just so many things going on all fronts, all at once, for sure, Madoom.
I mean, we've seen this. This is the third game we've seen from Ben. This seems to be his style, that he's going to be attacking things at 2 fronts, forcing you to have step up to his level of APM. And then I love this kind of play. Like, this is a little off-brand, but it's really interesting. It seems very effective.
Yeah, this is something... I think part of why I ended up choosing Protoss when I started playing Brood War. This isn't the case for everything, but part of what I liked is that the onus of, I guess, failure is a lot of the times on other races. Like, if Terran doesn't siege up in time, you just kind of roll over them. If they clump up their tanks too much and you get a good stasis off, then once again you kind of roll over them. And Ben Elton really just showcasing both multitasking ability and this onus of failure.
And there we finally see that Wraith I was talking about. Like, you gotta shut this down. Although, is that Storm gonna kill the Wraith? Oh,
no,
barely
not quite.
Doesn't kill the Wraith.
Oh.
I would have lost my mind if one Storm kills a Wraith. I wasn't sure either way. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, someone, I think it was Armada, said like Storm ticks at 14 damage a second or something like that. Or each tick is 14 damage or something. I don't know how many ticks it has, but apparently it's not enough to kill a Wraith by itself.
Yeah, just barely short. Ben going in for the next attack. I still don't like they keep leading this attack with Dragoons. Needs a little bit more careful army management, but this kind of force here, if he commits to the attack, will work, but he keeps delaying things too. But this is enough units to run this stuff over. Hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake and overextend into the natural.
Big mine hit there too. Took out a vulture in the tank, I think, for a cost of like 1 or 2 zealots. Yeah.
And meanwhile, with all these attacks going on, Ben keeps putting the pressure on, but just like we saw in the other games, like, alright, I'm going to take my next base. He's going to expand behind all this. He's getting his arbiters ready, so keeping the pressure on a really high pace that throws his opponent back, but still has eyes that see into the game lasting longer, not ending in the next minute.
Yeah, his macro is just insane. He's just got so many units. He's up 100 supply at this point. That's... oh, wow.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing when I see someone when people say like, oh, Protoss, it doesn't take any skill to use. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, and definitely doing a good job executing all of it. Even if it's just simple units, nothing super fancy or micro-intensive, really just being able to keep your bases going, put all this pressure on. This is the kind of thing that makes for us, like, it feels good to watch it when it's executed well.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, maybe if you're not a Terran player, but for us players, this feels great.
Yeah, denying that third, and it looks like it's might get this command center too, which is really not good for Shermadoom.
Especially since we haven't seen from Shroom any attempt to establish a fourth. This third keeps getting denied over and over. And he actually, if you're starting to look at the minerals in the both other bases he has, they're starting to run really low. This isn't insignificant. They keep shutting this down.
Meanwhile, Ben Elton's sitting on what 5, 6 bases now almost.
Yeah, he keeps establishing more and more, just really making sure. And I can't believe his money's so low still. This isn't.
Yeah, he's almost maxed. He's just got so much. His macro is insane.
Oh, we got the Arbiter done, starting to build energy. Gonna be way off any kind of spell. And look, it's another speed shuttle with some Zealots in Storm, because he just wants to keep using this shuttle. But a Wraith finding it very quickly, needs to be careful.
Well, almost finding it very quickly.
It saw it just isn't attacking. A giant attack though from Ben Elton going into the natural. I don't think there's enough here to stop this one.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's just so many Zealots.
I just love looking at the shuttle and Wraith. They're like they're just out of attacking range for the Wraith. They're just sitting there like waving at each other.
Yeah, and GG is called from Shermadoom. And just insane macro from Ben Elton.
Yeah, that is a player to worry about. What team did you know what team he got on?
I don't know. He said I think it was in this game or the last game. Someone was asking him like where he was from, and he said EU. So I'm gonna assume the EU team, but I don't know for sure.
Fair enough. All right, so we're going into our next game. This is gonna have Ling Pump again versus our 5th player of the group. We haven't seen yet. Narville. It's another Protoss player.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm looking forward to this. Although I'm going to always look forward to good old PvZ.
You're still crazy.
So many things can go wrong, but it's for both sides, really. So spawning in the top middle, we've got IRK Lingapumpa as the orange Zerg. And the bottom left, we've got Narsil from the clan Rev in the blue Protoss.
Well, we got a little downtime to talk about it. And I've seen you in the league for a little bit now. You're on IRK as well. How's being on a clan helped you improve?
It really just helps, one helps you get to know some people. Exposes you to more practice partners, more different play styles, and that sort of thing. But it also just helps build community, I'd say. I don't want to make this another IRK ad, wink, but...
Hey, you're putting in the time to cast, you can plug your clan, I don't care. It's preseason, it's off the books, do whichever you want, man.
Fair enough. But yeah, I just like having that group of people there. I haven't been super active lately, but I aim to be changing that. Just a lot of stuff with university and personal things going on, but...
That's okay, life happens.
So I had to wonder if this game was played after that game against Ben Elton, because Lingapumpa is not going for hatch first this game, but instead going for a pool. I think that was overpool, but I didn't catch it.
It was overpool, yes. Yeah, I actually don't know. And we actually see the Forge going down for Narsil rather than the Gateway expand. So going for the stable, the classic, the I don't even want to worry about it kind of opening.
Something that just happened, though. Narsil lost his probe to his 2 drones. So he's sending another one out.
Oh, that is a little unfortunate, but did it get into range to at least see the spawning pool building? Because that gives you the time you need to know about the build.
That's true. I believe he did, yeah.
The one thing you really want to see, if nothing else, keep your probe long enough to see those first 3 eggs after the spawning pool. See how many are drones, how many are lings. Because that's the knowledge you need to know when you do a forge opening of how many cannons do I need, when do I need them. And we see no lings at all, Don't build any cannons, and we're seeing 2 blind cannons because he lost the probe. It had the gas
Yeah, just delaying that Nexus
so
even
much.
more. Which is
Although, is it going to kill this Overlord? 3
3
health. Oh
health.
no,
Oh, I hate when that happens. Ah,
that would have been fantastic. Although we see another Overlord head towards that front, out of range of the cannons, but man, that is just the most brutal thing I've seen.
so Lingapumpa is building up a bunch of drones at the moment. Not really going for many Zerglings, but he is getting
And
a third
you
hatch.
see that, yeah, third hatch. When I see, if I built one overpull, built no units, and my opponent built 2 cannons blindly anyway, the gateway just being started, you have no threat of anything. You should be droning as hard as possible.
And he's getting a layer now too, even more with the hydrogen.
Yeah, this seems like it's going to be going into that kind of normal. When you have the opportunity to go into a big macro game, it usually does end up being like 3
Ooh.
hatch, you get Spire, just to shut down Corsairs, and then you go into Hydras later. So it feels like that's the opening we're looking at from the Zerg player. And Pro's going to have to figure out some way back into this, because when your opponent skimps on all the units and you build 2 cannons, you are very behind economically. You need to get something done, or you got to take like a really fast third and be a little greedy, hope it doesn't get punished.
Yeah. I think Pump only has 1 gas at the moment, but I really don't know what he's going for. If I were in his position, well, I don't know. Droning up now for sure, but I feel like Protoss lost his probe again, so he really doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's that stable kind of thing. You get that fast fire, which just went down now. You're going to just get Scourge. There's no commitment to mutas at all, because like you said, they're only on the 1 gas. It's just enough to shut down Corsairs. And this, you go so light on the gas, so you get the extra minerals to build these faster hatcheries and get you right to that mid-game Hydra Ling kind of super aggressive mobile arm. You see Narsil getting that Stargate, not trying to do anything too weird. I mean, I love Citadel openings, but I definitely would not recommend it in a game like this.
Yeah, not when you're this far behind. It looks like he might catch this Zealot out. He's got Sling Speed done.
Yeah, no, this Zealot's dead to the world. Isn't going to get anything killed.
I thought Hydra was done. I saw that or heard that spitting sound, but it was just a drone.
Yeah, it's just a drone. I actually don't know why the drones are attacking here. This feels like a little unnecessary thing from Link Pump to be pulling drones to be attacking the Zealot here. But you already look at the situation. Like, look at the supply, even, which is great for Zerg. Look at the worker count, ahead for Zerg, great for Zerg. This is one of those games where I'm like, Narsil has to fight their way back to this game, and I'm curious to see how.
Yeah, I really am not sure. He's definitely behind. I don't know about too far behind, but he is behind for sure. It's just starting to slowly pull ahead in supply, but definitely not by much.
Yeah, the big thing I'm really concerned about is you have your Zerg. They set up all their bases. They're starting to add on those hatcheries, and the Hydra then just finished. If they wanted to start putting pressure on, you don't have the army to fight it. And you're like, their Citadel of Dune's not even close to done, and he loses the first Corsair. Oh no!
Oh, that's really bad. Let's see, Lingapumpa going for Hydras at the moment. I don't see any mutas, but he definitely might want to do that. Yeah, he's got another pair of Scourge heading for that Stargate. There's a cannon there. He won't be able to camp over it, but
I don't like that Narsil is being so aggressive to kill Overlords with these Corsairs instead of going to scout. He really is playing in the dark here and has no idea what's going on with Link.
Scourge just tailing these Zealots.
I mean, they can't cap the Stargate, which is the dream, because there is 1 cannon just waiting there to make sure that's not an option.
Oh, and the Corsair is turning around because of the Scourge. Looks like they will get the safety in time, but... Ooh. Well, I suppose not.
Oh,
He stopped just outside that cannon range, and then... Oh, he just lost another Corsair. Yeah, this
And
is.
we are seeing a small Zell attack at the front. There's plenty of Hydras. We didn't even have to build Sunkens and should be able to deflect this without any problems at all. Since the Zell speed not done yet, you can't fight effectively Hydras. They're just going to cut you all day long.
It's losing another zealot at this other base. I think the supply and the worker count is really telling. They're pretty much even on workers, and Zerg is ahead in supply again. It's just really spooky.
The situation we're looking at here from Narsil, the early game didn't go great. You didn't like go rush for attack that can get big damage done, like fast DTs or maybe like a Reaver or something. Like nothing that could get you back in the game. I don't like these little unit movements that they're doing instead, though. Like I feel like at this point, you just build a big death army, wait till you have Storm, and then you can confront like with a big 2-base push and really just focus on making a good push. But when you use these little units, like we're seeing here, Narsil isn't getting things done. Now look at the contain he's going to have to break through from Lane Pump, and Storm just getting research now. No Templar on the field to start building energy. Like, how are you actually going to get out of this?
Well, there is a little small zealot counterattack, but there's quite a few hiders here. Looks like he's going to try to target down the spire, but at the same time, an attack going down the front. Ooh, yeah, it looks like he's not really microwing both of these at the same time. Losing a lot of hydras there.
Yeah, I don't like that decision from Ling to decide to go in. When you look at the front here and you see that there's 5 cannons made, you don't need to go in. Like, you did your job, contain. You make sure they're not on a third base, you're good to go.
He didn't even take out a cannon, which is not ideal for Zerg.
I would say there was an opportunity with all his Hydras. If he just killed the Pylon, everything's depowered. +2 to never finishes. Like, it could have gotten real bad. Oh, it was 9+2. It's just the armor.
Armor, interesting.
Just going for cost effectiveness, I think, that you can't afford the extra resources for the +2.
Yeah, meanwhile, Lingapumpa just building up. He did almost lose that Spire. It was down to, I think, 198 hit points a minute ago. But he did manage to clean up that Zealot counterattack, so that almost turned things around to a certain degree, at least.
I think Lingapump's just the captain of barely having things survive. That Overlord at 2 health, the Spire barely surviving.
As Rim would say, Protoss has been getting robbed a little bit, but...
No, I don't know. There's nothing about this that is Protoss being robbed. This is entirely that Narsil made too many calls that were just like, I'm erring on the side of safety, and it just kept putting him a little behind, a little behind, a little behind, and cumulatively, this is where we end up at because of it. Link Pump taking a forced base with Protoss having no pressure on the map. And here comes some storms to push back these Hydras as well.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I was poking fun at Rim a little bit, but...
I don't know Ren that closely, so I'm not going to just let them take away. Like, we're not taking this shade from people. We do see, though, the Storm's not doing a tremendous amount of damage. We're adding on tons of Hydras and a couple Lurkers now, too, so when this big Zealot ball tries to move out, it's going to be very difficult to fight. Although we do see the Observatory on the way. As long as he doesn't lose these Overlords, because I do see a DT just hanging in the back, waiting for its chance.
Who would win, 1 KP boy or 30 drones?
Probably the KP boy, honestly.
Yeah, I've got to vote for the KP boy.
I do actually like that Link Pump taking a 5th base, but that's a weird location for a 5th base. Not trying to secure one of the other mains, or maybe that 3 o'clock pocket base over to the side. Like that I don't think that gets scouted for a very long time.
Yeah, I think he might just be trying to hide a base or something at this point. He's just got complete map control. If you look at Narsil's vision, it's just completely black outside of his base. He doesn't have any Corsairs. It's just dark. Meanwhile, Lingapump is spreading out Overlords all over the place. He can see just so much at this point.
Yeah, I love... This is the kind of little thing that especially new players need to do. Link Pump's in a great position. I would think we could agree they're ahead. So, like, the first thing Link Pump's doing, looking around, make sure there's not a base you didn't know about. and just make sure, no, he's on 2 base, and I'm containing him.
And what a contain this is. Just lurkers spread out all over the
This
place.
this is obnoxious. We do see plenty of High Templar, though. Storm going to be able to slowly break their way out of this, but definitely still going to be very difficult to fight this. And then even if you get out of this area, what are you going to do from there? Like, you can't expand with this army threatening you. It's going to be very difficult for us to take that next.
And meanwhile, Lingapumpa does have a hive. He's got a queen's nest as well, and getting a second Evo chamber. Looks like he's just going into upgrades, just compounding his lead even more. Yeah,
I love all these. There's little like details that I see from Lingpump that's just like making sure like I got a lead and I'm not gonna lose it. We see this giant army up at the front, but it's not all there in case something crazy happens and you lose it. He's got Scourge patrolling his main to make sure there's no drops getting in for a counterattack. Like, just a bunch of little tiny touches that are kind of just going to take away those little chances that can get Norsel back in this game.
Lingapumpa is going for an attack at the front. Not a full-blown attack, though. Looks like he's just sending in some of the Hydras and picking off some High Templar. And it looks like he succeeded as well.
I mean, the big thing here, you picked off the High Templar, you picked off the Zealots. And Dragoons alone are never going to be able to move into a Hydra concave.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Narsil managed to sneak out a shuttle with that Dark Templar in it, but Lingapumpa caught it with some Scourge before it even got in his base. Just shutting everything down.
There was the 2 of them just patrolling, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, how do I lose this game? Was ahead of it before it even happened. This is a really classic example of one of the things that a lot of players can lose games like this, that you think about, I got this game basically locked up. I need to know how am I going to lose and how do I stop it before it happens. So even with this attack at the front that Lingpump's doing, not going that great, like trading not super well, you have plenty of economy, you can afford to do that. But like a DT in the main, that will lose you all your drones and do really critical damage. Forcing all the action to happen outside is natural. You gotta feel that Lingpump feels really good about this.
Yeah, I can only imagine. If he could see the supplies right now, too, I'm sure he would be very happy. He's up by, like, 60. Almost.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a hard situation. You can even see in the Pross main, that's about to mine out, too. So, we're talking desperate times for Narsil. Has to get something.
The trouble is I'm just not sure what he can really do at this point. Like, he's kind of breaking this contain, but there's just so much out here that he just can't really fight back too well.
I would say the only thing I would even try at this point, because like there's so much army disadvantage. The only thing I think that's like it's mostly Lings and Hydras and stuff. Maybe Reavers could push you your way out of this, but even that is so out of the way and expensive. Like I don't think that's a good option either. DC Narsil keeps trying to push out, but there's these staggered groups of units that he moves forward, and there's just too much there to break through. A bunch of lurkers, just like constantly firing on Dragoons too. Just brutal situation.
He did soften up a bunch of lurkers to those storms, but the trouble is, storm doesn't kill lurkers unless there's 2 of them. Just, this hurts a little bit. Like I've been in this position a couple times recently, and it just pains me. I'm just stuck here, and I'm trying to break out, and I just can't do it.
I've lost plenty of games like this, especially circuit breakers. I feel like this happens all the time to be on circuit breakers.
Yeah, I can't really recall a single map that this has happened on, but even with
just
this,
that slowed bleed of units as you try to work your way out, and it's like there's too much stuff at too big of a concave. Where do you even try to attack out of it?
yeah, at this point, I would say that if Lingapumpa just attack moved, I think he could probably break this. There's just not enough here. Well, especially with this High Templar at the front.
Yeah, but even that, like, there's no reason to do it. Because, like, you attacking into a situation, like, you clump for 2 storms, that's how you lose this fight.
Yeah,
So
very
there's
true.
no reason to go forward right here. Like, Lingpump just taking extra bases, if you ever break out of this, it's going to be 7 vase first 2. Like, there's no situation this works out for Narsil as it stands.
Yeah, that is certainly pretty rough. Something that bothers me a little bit, though, is... I don't know, personally I think there might be a reason to attack, and the only reason I say that is because just... Well, on one hand, the longer the game goes on, the closer he is in mining out. But on the other hand, the longer the game goes on, that's more time for him to try to come up with something to come back. Not that I'm saying he'll be able to, but...
Yeah, I would say the only thing I would have been concerned about is, like, if you wanted to really lock this game down, we see it on the field now, but it just got here. That Defiler. Dark Swarm versus all these things, that's how you can break into this thing, because then Dragoons do nothing, cannons do nothing, and then you force them into, like, choke point zealots, then your lurkers clean up everything. But he was on high tech for a while, it just didn't get the Defilers out on the field. So that would be the only criticism I would have about how Pump's been playing this, but other than that, just taking that economic advantage and turning it to 11.
Oh, now he's got a Dark Swarm there. Although, Dark Swarming the Zealots, it's not quite what you want, but...
Yeah, those Dark Swarms did literally nothing. Because it's... I don't know if maybe I think it works the other way, but they protect what's under it, not stop what's under it from firing. So you just cast it on Dragoons, and there was no melee units to take advantage of it. But still, way too many resources. Lane Pump closing that one out.
Yeah, even then it just does not matter. Just
That
so
feel
much.
when you're so far ahead, you can just do whatever. Alright, well, we're going to see if this game goes a little different. We got Narsil going against Art of Turtle this time, so same matchup. We got so many PVCs.
Oh.
This is why you picked this group, isn't it?
That, admittedly, is part of why I picked the group. But also because I know some of the people in this group, and I thought it'd be really fun to look at. So spawning in the top middle position, we got the red Protoss Narsil from the last game. And in the bottom right, we've got a purple Zerg Art of Turtle. Now, oh no, that was Ben Elton. I was thinking of seeing if he's going to go gate first again, but that's a different player entirely.
Different player, and from my experience, when you see someone, if you watch them play one game and they go Gateway or Forge, that's probably them. They probably just do it's one or the other. There's enough build variations from each one, so I think you find the opening you prefer and kind of stick with it.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to be seeing a Forge from Narsil in that case.
I would stake my money on that one. Art Turtle finally getting that first scout with Zerg.
Yeah, he just has not been getting very lucky with that, has he? Meanwhile, Narsil's going in the wrong direction.
Better lucky this time, at least.
Yeah, true.
I'm curious to see what we see as far as the opener from our turtle, and it is going to be that overpool, the standard, the easy, safe, you don't know your opponent kind of open.
And meanwhile, he's scouting around, realizing he went to the wrong place with his probe, so he's turning around. And will it be a gateway or a forge? Yep, there's the forge. Just like you guessed.
Just keeping it simple. There's definitely an interesting pile in placement, though. I don't think I've seen a wall like that. I'm curious how it's going to turn out. I might steal that.
Yeah, someone posted some Neo-Sylphid walls, and I think that's where the pylon was for all of them. I think that forge is a little far up, but other than that...
Well, we did see a little cute move from our turtle when you sent the drone out for the expansion, but tried to hide it in the south, so the probe wasn't around to harass and block it or see the exact timing of the hatchery.
I didn't catch that.
We do see a different opening this time. Our turtle getting two groups of langs, the usual kind of thing, so you can threaten for cannons, rather than we saw last game where it was just all drones because he lost the early probe. And the opening looking a lot cleaner from Narsil this time. Be able to get just the one cannon to fight off these couple lanes. Nexus, Gateway. Things looking a lot smoother already.
Yeah, everything's on time. It's looking very nice from him. Looks like he's going to keep that probe alive for a while.
If you're really on top of everything, until there's link speed, you shouldn't ever lose the probe. I would love to criticize when players do, but I lose the probe almost immediately. So there's nothing I can do. We just see Arturtle taking their third over on the left side of the base, and that's not that surprising of a spot, but it's so out of the way, I don't see that getting scouted for quite some time.
Yeah, it's not really common on this map. I feel like there's always, not always, but typically I think I normally see it closer than that base.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's common on this map, but I think that's just the common mentality a lot of players might take from other maps, because that's how you would expand on a Circuit Breakers or Fighting Spirit, where it's let me just take this third base that secures my fourth base, and then I'm comfortable on 4. So it's that kind of riskier now, but safer later.
It looks like Arturtle did manage to kill off that probe, but Narsil managed to sneak another one out, so it looks like he is going to get some scouting information. Checking to see if there's a third down here, and it looks like he's going to see nothing.
Yeah, not really a third you would want to be investigating right away, because it is without that gas. Although, it's, at some point it's just let's just find that hatchery. Now, this is a different opening than we've seen in some of these games. We're on that 3 hatchery. We see a Hydra list then before Lair, and we're getting upgrades. I think we might see that dreaded Hydra buff.
Part of me actually hopes so, and then the other part of me is just going, why? Please no.
So I don't think Narsil's in that bad a spot to defend it. He has that lane between the bases that he could fit a good amount of cannons to help defend it. This is one of the reasons you try not to build your pilot as part of the wall, so it's not in the way of these cannons, so you can get maximum value. But we're going to have to see how this actually ends up panning out. We do see that Narsil got a probe in the base, and he just sees the Hydrogen now, confirms no lair, so he knows what's going on. Or he's putting the cannons down way ahead of time just to be safe.
Yeah, meanwhile he is getting that Stargate with, of Corsair. Looks like no +1 on air weapons, at least.
Yeah, you see he spent as fast as he could. He tried to get that Citadel. One of the things you need to do is make sure you get the Storm quickly to deal with these Hydras. Cannons will buy you time, but if you don't have Storm, you can't move out. You can't, and eventually you're going to get threatened.
And I think Narsil still hasn't quite scouted that third base from Arturtle. He's still seeing that probe around.
No idea about it yet. Although that's about to change very quickly. You can see he's pretty aggressively looking for this third base. Knows that it's out there somewhere.
And at least he's the creep.
We're starting to stockpile Hydras up at the front of the map, so we're going to see if it's going to be enough to get some damage done. Especially given how the walls are. If he can pick off that Forge, I think he's going to be taking a little bit of cannon shots to do it, but if he can pick off this Forge before that +1 finishes, he's going to feel really good.
Meanwhile, he almost lost that Corsair to a Hydra at the front. I guess he was paying attention to some other things.
Apparently can only find the angle to get one Hydra shooting at that Forge without getting counterattacked, so a little unfortunate.
Yeah, this up-down angle is really awkward for that just out of range sort of thing. I know I really don't like it when I had to do up and down whenever I'm trying to put a goon outside of a Terran's base.
Yeah, I find I have to do that a lot with moving them forward and stopping with a hold position or a stop command, not just attack move on the structure and let them stop themselves. That's usually my way that helps out a little more with this. This Forge taking some pretty good damage. The +1 did end up finishing, but if he kills the Forge, it stops any more cannons. And meanwhile, we got the Corsair in the main base, sees that there's a lair there, Spire on the way, it's going to start being able to kill some Overlords, which will, if it's supply caps, it slows down this attack significantly.
It looks like he wasn't quite planning an attack at the moment anyway, though. Because he hasn't been
No.
making all that many Hydras. He's really droning up hard. He's got more drones than the Protoss has probes.
Yeah, no, this is the kind of thing you see. We do see Zealots moving out onto the map, be able to push away these Hydras finally. And that's enough to definitely fight since speed is done, and +1 is done as well. But you do see this from Zergs a lot. They go for this 3-hatch Hydra, and if they see you made a bunch of cannons and they're like, I'm not going to break it, they cut off the unit production and immediately start macroing again. That's why we saw that fast layer. We see a 4th already in the other main as well. So it's not like the attack didn't work. It worked in a different way by forcing so much more money spent on cannons, not infrastructure, not a 3rd nexus.
Meanwhile, it looks like Narsil might be... Oh no, he's turning away from that 3rd base. Heading down here, maybe he's going to try to pressure the main.
Yeah, I think either base is probably a good spot, though, because neither of them have any Sunkens to help defend.
Well, that 3rd
Lots of
base
lanes
does,
going in.
but this one does not. Well, he's getting a good surface area on the Zealots. But the drone drill coming in, kind of messing with things.
Yeah, I think there's enough to end up defending this. A good drill from Arturo to help with these Hydras to make sure that it couldn't keep going. But we see another wave moving out across the map now. Looking like turning back maybe wants to try the luck at the 3rd base.
I think Narsil might have lost another Corsair. Because I don't see any on the map. I know he lost one earlier.
I'm not sure at this point. It's hard to follow all the action ones. Like, you're expecting an attack at the front, so like watching the little things. See a bunch of Zealots moving into this natural again. As they're navigating around the buildings, though, Hydra's just free firing on them. I think this attack also doesn't go well. It doesn't even need the drone drill this time to reflect.
Yeah, all these Zealots just going down. He does manage to sneak one into the main to get a little bit of sky information. No hive or anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, good to see that you don't see hive, you don't see a queen's nest, so they have some idea what's going on. But it's not like you're getting accurate hatchery counts because that's being built at the other bases. So Narsil's still kind of just in a situation that you don't have a whole lot of information. If you actually look at how the game's going, look how much gas needs to be building up. This is where I would start saying, even if you don't want to have more storms, start building Archons or something.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see his gas bank. That is quite a bit. What is he building right now? Looks like goons. Mostly goons and a few zealots.
Yeah, I do think though Narsil has to get something done soon. If you look at the worker count between the players, our turtle having 4 base versus 2 and a superior worker count, feeling really good right now.
Yeah, I can only imagine he is. He's up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 hatch at the moment.
Get to link up at that top right by the middle to confirm that Narsil is still in fact on 2 base as well.
Looks like he's wanting to push this 3rd base.
I mean, at this point, I feel like you do have to get something done. Like you've been committing so much to army, you haven't been really establishing your economy. So you got to get something to level it up a little bit, and then you can take your next nexus and go from there. So whether that's attacking the 3rd or attacking the natural, I feel like he does have to attack something. Starting a nexus now in the middle of the map, but I still want to see him commit to something.
I'm worried he won't be able to get all that much done in this case, though. There's only one lurker, but he doesn't have any detection. And quite a few Sunkens and some pretty good SimCity, at least back here.
And he's just going to forego the detection, just storm it away. 2 storms staggered out, enough to kill it off, but we have plenty of Dragoons, and there's only 2 Sunkens here. Should be enough to get it out, and actually just trying to save the drones, or actually using them to fight. Don't even know if I agree with that either.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
See, this is the problem with having this 3rd base like here. If you lose the 3rd base, what's going to stop you from losing the 4th base?
You know, some more goons coming down to reinforce.
Hopefully not committing too much with goons. At a certain point, like, goons have a great effectiveness, but they do need zealots to help buffer them in because they take so much damage from Hydras also.
And speaking of Hydras, here they come.
Yeah, still had a storm waiting for him. It was pretty good connection. Didn't hit the maximum, but There's a lot of goons here that could still get some stuff done. We're going to see if this is enough to reflect this. I think the Hydras can barely clean this up, though, especially with those links on the backs.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. All those Hydras, or excuse me, Dragoons going down. And with that, Arsenal did manage to close the gap between the worker counts. They're now even, but if I'm not wrong, even is not where you want to be in worker count with Zerg.
I mean, at least it's better now that it's even and it's 4 base versus 3 compared to I'm down and it's 4 versus 2. So Narsil did do some damage to get him back in this game. I feel a lot better about his position now than I did 2 minutes ago.
Very, very true.
Although we do see still from our turtle laying at the mineral only in top right, laying at the next gas base near that middle section. So having a good idea of what Narsil's working with and trying to do. And if you don't ever see him try and take these bases, you can assume he's prepared for another attack.
Which is exactly what he's doing right now.
And finally getting the robotics on the way. So that means we're still a distance away from observers at all, though. So that lurker gonna have to. I think this is enough, but he does have a couple of high Templars, so looking like he just maybe wants to eat through the storms again.
Yeah, our troll hasn't really been making all that many lurkers yet, but I suppose that makes sense when he's against so many goons. But at the same time, he didn't have any detection until almost now.
Well, no, you say there's not a lot of lurkers, but look at that army moving up from the south side. There's your lurkers.
Oh, there they are. Hello. Not all lurkers at the third, I should say.
They're there now, and they're pissed off. They're going to be killing everything, I think. Oh, they're just surrounding for a burrow. This is one of those like things you put on Reddit. Look at this highlight of me killing everything.
Oh, that's just painful. So many Dragoons.
Yeah, we still see Narsil really enforcing just Dragoons, not replenishing the Zealot count at all, which is really necessary. Although we do see a shuttle now. That could maybe get like a nice storm drop, does some extra damage, gets it back.
Meanwhile, our turtle is getting that Defiler mound, so those aren't too far off at this point.
Yeah, if you see your opponent only going Dragoons, I'd be rushing that Defiler mound. Dark Swarm, Plague, run in, just kill them.
Cracklings and Darksworn. That is my PvZ nightmare. Just,
Oh, what? You don't like losing a base in 4 seconds?
Well, I can't
like
say I'm
that?
a big fan. No, not really.
Oh, these lanes coming up to stop this 4th base from being established and actually catch the shuttle that's moving down. It has 2 Dark Templar moving towards the main. Let's see if our turtle noticed.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Looks like the shuttle's gonna let go these Dark Templar.
Oh, here we go. KP boys, this is how you come back. Attacks a building to trigger a notice, though. Not what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, he is getting the spawning pool, which is good in this case because he has almost nothing but Dragoons, but at the same time, not getting really any workers.
Yeah, I would go for the Defiler Mound. If you're going to kill tech structures, like, that's the priority I would want to kill right now. Defiler Mound and spawning pool. So, halfway there, but I think he could have killed some drones if he just went for them real low-key. We're actually seeing a lurker flank. It looks like I've never seen that before. Unfortunately, not burrowing enough in time. These Dragoons actually pushing through the natural here. I thought there was enough defense, but it turns out there's not.
Yeah, this is +3 Dragoons. They just kind of shred things if they get the chance to actually keep firing on it, at least. And at this point, it looks like it's going to.
Yeah, and especially since our turtle lost that spawning pool, and I don't see it. It's not completely done yet, being reestablished. So not gonna be able to get some lanes to defend this. And when you're fighting into a concave of upgraded Dragoons, that's actually pretty difficult for anything other than links to do.
And he's getting all these hatcheries, which is just poor AOT.
The one thing I would love to see from this game, though, like you see all these big cross-map movements of units to defend, like from the natural to defend the third, or now from the third to defend the natural. We don't ever see any counterattacks from Art Turtle.
That's true, yeah.
Like if we took some of these lurkers and like went for a counterattack at the third or something, there would have been nothing there to defend it. There's just a couple cannons. Like you could definitely get some damage.
Yeah, now Narsil just has Zealots and Archons and Dragoons, oh my. Just shredding through
I,
everything.
I can't believe how fast this game turned. I would have, like, 5 minutes ago, I would have been sure Arturo was going to stay in a good position, but lost some critical damage here, and once you
Ooh.
couldn't, like, this ball of Dragoons got out of control, just nothing you could do about it. Actually going to take it out of Hydra then now, too.
Storm's dropping that fourth base as well. Just destroying
Oh,
all those
rude.
drones. He's gonna get this hive as well. Yeah, I think this is probably about it.
Now, that is unfortunate, given how good that situation looked early in the game, but Narsil's shown why you stay in the game until the end.
He was looking rough there for a bit, but he came back with a force.
Alright, we got 2 more games, and they're both going to be mirrors. We're going to get through a ZVZ first, and then we're closing out with Protoss vs. Protoss.
I don't really know how I feel about those matchups, but hopefully they'll provide some good games regardless.
I feel everyone has that same thought about ZVZ. Unless you play Zerg, you just go, what do you feel about ZVZ? It's Langs and Muse. I don't know.
Well, Zerg makes some units, and then one of them just dies very quickly.
It seems to be the usual case.
So in the top middle, we've got Ash Arta Turtle in the orange, and the bottom left, we've got the blue Zerg IRK Lingapumpa.
This matchup, I'll be completely honest. If I had the choice, I would play ZVZ over PVZ. I love how visceral this matchup is.
Really?
That's just like you kill one more drone than you were supposed to, and the game's over. It's like very knife's edge, and it's exciting.
To me, that's really scary because I know my micro isn't all that good. So I prefer the PVZ. Not only because I think it's fun, but also it's just very volatile. But not quite in the same way.
Yeah, but I want like this. I love, especially when you see a game when one player goes for mass Langs and the other one goes for mass Mutas, and it's like who can defend the other person's all in better. It's fun. I actually really enjoy watching too. And we already see a difference in the builds. We got Pump going for 9-pool speed, or a 9-pool into a very fast layer. We'll have to see what the 100 gas is spent on first. Our Turtle, in the meanwhile, though, going for that 12-pool, going to be able to, it's going to slow things down, but have much more stable economy, and still have the lengths and time to defend against the 9.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I don't really know ZVZ builds all that much, so...
Well, basically, all you need to know about ZVZ is there's 2 units. There's Zerglings and there's Mutas. Pick one. Like, pick the one you want, and that's what your build should be going toward.
So Lingapumpa getting those Zerglings out. Yeah, I suppose you're right, they will be in time to...
I don't know how I feel about taking this hatchery so fast, though. This might be a little dangerous.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, so we're going to see 6 links on the way. The Overlord's going to see them on the move. But unfortunately, we just saw a drone get built from our turtle. So looks like the links getting slightly delayed. I think they're going to spawn in time, but like this is just going to be very awkward. And we already see that link up not getting the link speed, going straight for the lair for that, getting that Spire advance.
They're not quite done. He is going to get this, or at least see this hatchery in progress.
You can already see our turtle respecting this, taking the same amount of lengths and pulling a couple extra drones just to be sure, because you can't afford to lose an investment like a hatchery like this.
Yeah, I think he really has to, because if something goes just slightly wrong, it could cascade out of control.
Yeah. So this is actually like the perfect example game what I was talking about. We see with our turtle getting the second hatchery, not developing into a lair, getting that Zergling speed, gonna have 2 hatchery of larvae to go all in lings. Meanwhile, Langapump gonna have that fast lair, gonna get a Spire really quickly, and have the mutas that Lynx can't hit. So this is like kind of the choice of which one do you want to go for, and seeing which player can execute it better.
Papa also getting a sunken colony.
You have to, because with one, especially with only one hatchery, you have so few larvae, you can't afford to be investing into Zerglings, so you have to save them for mutas or possibly a pair of Scourge if you need it later. So Sunkens are your way through to not get counterattacked and killed. Although if you look with our turtle, that is a lot of lings, and they're fast now.
Yeah, Langapumpa has a good concave on this, but against speedlings, I don't know.
This is concaves do so much in this kind of matchup because like these lengths will last for a while, but I think this is the opportunity to make another sunken. You already see it in production from Langapump, knowledgeable that he just needs to buy the time for it to. Because if you look at the situation we're seeing here, that if these mutas get out, these lings can't do anything, and that the mutas can go across the map. There's nothing to prevent.
Oh, that's just so many speedlings.
Here we go. We're going in. We got the drones fighting too, but we have 2 Sunkens and 3 mutas on the way now. We have to get some critical damage done. 1 Sunken goes down as it looks like we're not losing a lot of drones yet from Langapump, though. Try and just get the Sunkens out of the way. And once he does that, these lings are going to mow through all these drones before the mutas even hatch.
Oh, and they're all stuck in that one spot, too. Oh, that's just painful.
I mean, that was a conscious choice to try to prevent target firing, to make it a little harder to kill, buy you some time, but damage done. And Langapump immediately taps out with no money for any more drones. Fantastic from our turtle to all in on Lings. So.
Man, that's... ZVD is just so fast.
But it was exciting. Come on.
It was exciting. I do like it.
Is he gonna hold? He's gonna hold. And it's also like a 5-minute game.
I just wish ZVZs just went a little longer in general so we could see some more crazy stuff happen. But even then, it was just so fast-paced.
There was an era of Kespa games you would have loved.
Really?
There was an era where Great, particularly, made ZVZs last long enough that they got the Hive Tech, and it was awesome.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I'd be really interested in that. Well, I believe you said this is the final match of the night?
This is the final match of the night. We got our 2 Prosses duking it out in a matchup that I would call silly.
We've got in the bottom left Ben Elton in the red, and in the bottom right we've got Narsil from Clan Rev in the yellow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind PvP, but like in the same way that I just said, like I love ZZ because it's really on a knife's edge and really like punishing when you mess up. I feel for us, the matchup is usually who is slightly more greedy, and they usually have the advantage. Not way more greedy, but just slightly, just a little bit more greedy.
Yeah, I have very conflicting feelings for PvP. Sometimes I love it, and then other times I just lose like 5-10 games in a row of PvP, and I'm just like, no, I'm done for now, thanks.
It's definitely a weird one. I do like that there is so many viable openers, though.
That
I mean,
is cool.
you have 2 gate and robo, get your observers that like default. You can go a lot of gateways just for pressure. There's these Dark Templar builds that can do damage and force robos. Or you can do that like Zella expand stuff for like a Nexus first and be like, I'm gonna make you know how to punish this. Lots of choices.
Looks like Narsil's gateway just a little bit behind Ben Elton's. I don't know if that'll end up mattering or not, but something to consider at least.
This early, it really shouldn't matter. Like these kind of changes don't particularly matter. Now we're talking. Ben Elton go for 2 gateways instead of 1.
Oh.
And we'll have to see if he skips the gas. It might be that Zella expand I was talking.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
I mean, I think you would already be starting the assembler, so this is looking like it's going to be a Zella expand. You usually get like 5 Zealots, and then you get a Nexus, and then you get cans behind it to stop Dark Templar from punishing you. Just a very different way to play a matchup. It's still pretty effective. doesn't really work on the pro level as much because they know exactly how to punish it. But as a learning build, it's not a bad choice at all.
Maybe I'll end up picking that up. I don't know.
It's definitely interesting. If you've never tried it, try it for a couple games to see how you like it. But yet, like, there's different ways to punish this that doesn't apply to other ones. Like, one of the big things that can do really well against a build like this is a proxy robo, so you can reverse siege it immediately. Because the only thing that are there are slow zealots and forge cannons.
Ah, yeah, that would do it. Opting not to push immediately with that first zealot, though, which I suppose makes sense. You want a little bit more of a majority there.
Now, the big thing here is that he is making sure that scout doesn't get in and see what's happening. And now we're moving out. Now we got the 3 zealots. The scout can see it now. It doesn't really matter anymore. He's going to move across the map, and you can see Narsil choosing to do that one gateway opening. Only going to have a single Dragoon. It's going to be up to his micro to actually get him out of this one.
I feel like that's not the worst spot to be in, though. I don't feel great about that when I play that personally, but I feel okay. It's definitely doable, at the very least. It's just really annoying when they start sending zealots to your mineral line and also chasing your Dragoon.
Yeah, but I mean, so even assuming no damage happens, look at the situation we're looking at now. Ben Elton's already 3 probes ahead just because his build is cheaper and more streamed. Dragoon taking a couple shots without kiting. We're actually, these zealots doing pretty significant damage in this early fight.
With 2 Dragoons out, though, I don't know if he's going to be able to get much done, although zealots do kill probes very fast. Oh, zealot glitching through those minerals.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad about what happened there for Ben Ellen at all, though. Like, he lost a couple of zealots he threw on the map. There's a couple Dragoons now, but, like, he's up 5-4 workers depending on the production cycle, and he's looking like he can be set up for a good mid game. Starting to switch over into that Dragoon production, and actually going to 3 gateways, skipping detection. He saw his opponent didn't have a Citadel and didn't have a Robo, so going all in on this gateway aggression, given that he has that superior economy, should actually pan out quite well, I think.
Yeah, I keep underestimating the probe count, and I really shouldn't, because I keep thinking, oh, well, he just has more goons, he's already ahead, but that's really not necessarily the case, because he already has, what, 5 more probes?
Yeah, and you can even say, like, it has more goons, he's already ahead, but, like, remember, Narsil was the one building Dragoons first, and he's on the back foot of the actual Dragoon count.
Oh man, he is.
Yeah, Narsil's starting to push out across. A couple of these Dragoons a little bruised, though, so has to be a little careful. He's going to be pushing into Defender's advantage, and looking like Ben Elton trying to set up like he wants to take that expansion.
He's got a pretty good concave, and he's got several more goons about to pop out. Yeah, I don't know about attacking into this, but yeah, immediately
I think you see the situation that you back off. Narsil decided to take the fight though, which unfortunately, because like with his units being a little bit bruised, this target fire from Ben Elton actually doing very good work, killing Dragoons quite quickly.
And with 3 more goons, Narsil really can't fight this at all. Gonna be forced to back up.
That is the one good thing about this matchup. Dragoons can always run away from Dragoons.
Until there's nowhere left to run.
Now you see Ben Ellen has a superior unit count. There's a couple Dragoons caught up by that third. If they get caught out, like there's no way to actually defend them. And I don't think this is going to be enough of a good flank. This unit count for Ben Ellen's still pretty superior.
He's doing nice target firing, but the goon count is kind of evened out now. I think Ben Elton's going to end up losing these.
Yeah, it's always that defender advantage that he was up ahead, but then a production cycle finished. And Narsil having those couple of Dragoons behind actually cut off the retreat path, so Ben Elton had to commit to the fight. So, definitely interesting situation we're looking at here.
Just constant back and forth with Dragoons. He is opting to get that Nexus, and I think he'll be able to hold on.
And if you see, Narsil has the probe ready in the same spot too, so this is what I'm talking about, that's slightly more greedy.
And that one bruised Dragoon just getting picked off immediately.
And looking like Benel has enough to fight this after his reinforcements pop. So when you reset the unit count and he has the Nexus started, Narsil doesn't, this looks much better for Benel now than it did 30 seconds ago.
Well, the Nexus halfway finished even. The probe count has evened out, but...
And we actually see Narsil committing to trying to do an attack and break through this. Like, he's still building Dragoons, not accepting the loss and building the Nexus instead. He's going to have to get something done, but you see from Ben Ellen, he isn't stopping his Dragoon production, and now working toward a Robo as well. He'll have that Reaver for defense pretty soon.
Meanwhile, Narsil actually going for a 4th gateway, so he's starting to get pretty all in with this.
Yeah, this is definitely all in. You can't support 4 gateways on one base like this. You're going to get a couple production rounds and be able to maybe get that Dragoon advantage, but this eventually does peter out, especially since we're only mining for Ben Ellen. His economy going to kick in quick, and especially I really want to see this attack happen before Reaver pops out. Verbuck's about to finish. He's not that far away from it.
I kind of feel like it has to. If it doesn't, then I think Ben Elton just holds it pretty easily. I mean, he's going for an observatory first instead of a robotics facility. I guess he's worried about Dark Templar.
I suppose that's a fair assumption. So it does allow him to keep his Dragoon production up, so you actually see the numbers. They're about even or slightly ahead for Ben Ellen just because of the defender advantage. Actually still pulling back all the way. Wanted to give the Dragoons an opportunity to hit the pylons or probes, and now the probes joining in the fight, Ben Ellen should be able to deflect this.
And with these probes helping out, it's... I don't know about super one-sided, but Ben Elton definitely has the advantage.
Well, he does, but here comes 2 more from Narsil to join in the fight, so it's a constant back and forth about when reinforcements arrive and the target firing of the weakened units.
He does have one more goon pop, and one more on the way.
There's a couple from Narsil that are just so weakened but not finished off. They're adding much more DPS than he should ever have in this fight. But when we're losing all the Dragoons here and Ben Elton still has a couple standing, given that the Nexus is already finished, this is looking like Ben's going to be able to stabilize because, like you said, like all Narsil has is 4 gateways. There's no tech, there's no Nexus. And once you get to this point where it's like you're behind on goons and it's not production rounds like shifting the tide anymore, we even see a 4th gateway finally being added from Ben Ellen, so he's even built match production very quickly.
5th gate even. And he's starting to pull ahead in worker count as well. He does get this observer out, and it looks like he's going to send it straight over to Narsil's base. No.
Yeah, I think the main thing he wants to see right now is there a Nexus. Like, more important than anything, because you can kind of write off some things like Dark Templar just because he's been making so many Dragoons so aggressively. And it's like, well, he's making as many as I am. I have 2 gas, and I don't have a bank of gas. So there's no way he has a bank of gas. So we do see that support bay for the box just about to finish. That first Reaver for that defense is going to be up very quickly. But we're still just slamming on a ton of Dragoons for both players. They're also going to have to figure out what he wants to do and make that decision soon. I feel like he has to do something or it's just going to get out of hand.
Yeah, Narsil really needs to... I guess he really has to just break this. If he can't, then he's just so far behind at this point.
Yeah, this is why I didn't like that initial choice of when he was like, I'm going to make... He had 3 gates, he made that extra round of Dragoons, like, I'm going to try to break this, instead of just going, I'm going to start a Nexus, and it's halfway behind yours. Because when you keep trying to force this, especially without any tech units, you're just trying to do raw units. You run into the situation where Ben Ellen just had a lot of raw units too, and a defender's advantage. You're never going to get through. We do see Narsil trying to go in for the fight, though. Let's see how it goes.
Narsil does get a volley or 2 off before Ben Elton does, but with this a defender's advantage.
A couple units not firing as well.
Even shooting his own Dragoon, it looked like there for a second.
Oh, this fight actually going quite well for Narsil. Having just like, I think, 1 more unit and slightly better targeted firing, mowing through things, and actually building quite the Dragoon advantage now. Might be able to push his way through.
And now he has to pull probes to hold this off. I think he'll be able to still, but Now he's starting to lose some probes, which is never good.
I mean, he's got the probes to lose, though, from having the 2 Nexus, and the Reaver finally popping out, so going to have that bolstered defense, but has to be very careful not to lose it. Unfortunately, the Robo all the way to the south side of the base, so it's lots of walking distance for this Reaver.
Narsil did manage to even up that probe count. Now he's actually ahead. Although he doesn't have that second base, and he doesn't have a second Nexus, so if Benelton survives this...
Narsil. Here comes the Reaver, though. Is he going to get there in time? I don't think so. And now we're talking seven Dragoons at a concave out of the tiniest choke I've ever seen by that egg. Like, definitely going to lose the Nexus. Narsil going to keep putting the pressure on. I'm very surprised by the turnout of this map.
Seems like a very risky move by that Reaver, but it looks like it paid off. Managed to pick off a few goons. Although...
Yeah, I think for him to really be able to stabilize here, that he does want to make sure. He's been losing probes trying to defend this. I don't think you can afford to lose this Nexus, but we'll have to see. This Reaver really getting a lot of work done, but it's clocking up all the Dragoons behind it.
Oh no, he loses the Reaver. Although, well, no, Narsil just has that advantage of the concave, and Benelton's just being forced with that little tiny choke there. And now he's getting into the main base. I just don't think... I think Narsil's done it.
Even though we see, like, they were so committed to one base for a long time for Narsil, now putting out Nexus, realizing, alright, now I have a transition point to get into this mid-game without being terribly fun. So you remember what I was saying? Slightly greedier? I don't think that expansion is too greedy, but like adding on 5 gateways, he never built out of all 5. He added on Robo and Observer and Reaver, and like all this stack at the same time. If he did like one or the other, it would have been good. But just trying to do a little too much all at the same time when Narsil just said, I'm making Dragoons, and eventually broke his way through. Just had to keep fighting for like 8 minutes to do it, but finally did it.
Yeah, now, I don't know if Narsil can really move in there, but he doesn't really have to. He's got map control.
Yeah, Ben trying to get out here himself and see what's up. He's got about an even Dragoon count. I do see another Reaver in production, but just about to finish. It's too slow to help with an attack. And these Dragoons just starting to whittle away again at each other.
And several more Dragoons at home for Narsil, but none on their way just yet.
I wouldn't even keep attacking if I'm Narsil. I would just, like, you got an expansion, you know you killed his, just take the expansion. I don't know how much I'm in love that he is at just adding more gateways. This is a good opportunity to get an Observer or something. We're 15 minutes into the game. There was plenty of opportunity to get a Dark Templar if you wanted one.
One thing to point out, though, is Narsil's base is almost, or at least his main is almost mined out, but I don't know if that'll really matter here, given that Benelton's just got fewer Dragoons.
I mean, you could say that about Benelton's main base, too, though. And we're getting another fight going out, but Narsil looking like he has a slight Dragoon advantage already, plus reinforcements on the way.
Oh, just so many Dragoon corpses. Yeah, it's not quite enough. Just a few Dragoons more, and it just snowballs so heavily and so fast.
Yeah, not even a few, like one. One Dragoon more can snowball these fights so quick.
Yeah, that's it.
GG's. I'm like 100% sure he was gonna win that game the way he defended his natural or everything, but he just added on too much stuff at once, and instead of just making sure, if he just solidly built out of 4 gateways, that's fine. If he skipped the Observer and got a faster Reaver, totally fine. But even that wasn't necessary. Just got too much all at the same time, I think.
Yeah, just splitting his priorities too much. I think Benelton had it there for a minute, but he just let things slip just a little too much.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well,
that was our last one for the night.
So it was. Well, that was fun. I like that.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun series. Lots of interesting games, especially Ben Elton. I was surprised. I don't remember the name, but He's played very strong. I'm excited to see more from him in the future.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, he's not on our team, and that has me a little concerned. But yeah, he's definitely very, very strong. Um, Looking forward to seeing what he has in the future, as well as everyone else in the group. Like, no one in there was just substantially weaker than anyone else. They all played very, very well. Like, definitely top tier of SCPL for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. It didn't feel like there was any completely outclassed games, and all the players playing at a high caliber. One day I'll play that good. It'll be nice.
One day. Well, that's what CPL is for, right?
Sure.
Oh, we'll get there.
I hope so. I don't think I ever actually will. This game's too hard. I'm too old.
There's still time.
Well, I mean, thanks for having me on for the cast, though. It was fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And thank you for helping out with everything and getting the replays and whatnot. So,
Yeah, of course.
well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hopefully that was enjoyable. I haven't really been looking at chat because my screen keeps turning off, but
No, people have been enjoying it. No complaints.
yeah, I think so. Well, thank you all for watching. We will see you next time. Hopefully I'll get to do some more of these. That was pretty fun. So,
Yep.
Yep. Well, thank you all.